east right now is this second round. So in Tarrant County, also into Parker County, the Weatherford area, some heavy rain for you as well. It's made its way through the Mineral Wells area. That is pushing its way eastward for us. Just getting very close to downtown Fort Worth. We don't have rain yet, noticing that we are seeing some lightning there on Sky 2. I'm looking off in the distance at one of our monitors there. Stephenville down to near Comanche as well. We have some of the heaviest rain with that severe thunderstorm warning as that is pushing east. So this is the threat as we're going through the remainder of the next probably 2 to 3 hours. And unfortunately, it's right over that area that saw the devastation from the tornadoes earlier. So if you're just now joining us, severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 1:15. So that is pushing its way eastward. And again, the biggest threat as we switch back over to look at the winds is the potential of winds maybe 50, 60, even 70 miles per hour. And this is something that we definitely need to watch. And sometimes on the leading edge of some of these lines, you might get a quick spin up. You might get a gustnado, a real quick spin up. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But right now, some of the strongest winds possibly making their way down to the surface near Weatherford, just to the southwest of Weatherford, maybe winds 65 to 75 miles per hour. Just to the southeast of Springtown, winds of 58 miles per hour. So that's what we're seeing. Again, some of this might not be making its way down to the ground, but the potential is there. That brighter green color, that's where I'm a little bit more concerned. So that's what I'm looking at least right now, when we have this line moving in, the squall line that's moving through. So when you see these storms really line up, that's the biggest threat, maybe those straight line winds. And you'll definitely notice it as you're going to hear it when it makes its way into your neighborhood. So some of the heaviest rain now in the Keller area near the Colony, stretching its way into Louisville, stretching down just to the west of Grapevine, Roanoke. I'm not sure if we would be able to see it on our Dallas airport camera just yet, but the rain almost is there. Same story stretching to near Saginaw. A lot of lightning with these storms. Let's switch on over to Sky 2 if we can, just as well, to show the lightning that's coming in. So you see our mobile levee unit driving through all of the rain. A lot of people have their flashers on because rainfall rates maybe a half of an inch to 2 inches of rain per hour. You're able to see there. There's some of the lightning as well from the Fort Worth Sky Cam. So rainfall rate definitely shows that we are seeing rainfall, but possibly a half of an inch to an inch, maybe even higher than that. I don't think it's at 5 inches of rain per hour, but we're definitely seeing some of the heaviest rain with some of the products. So maybe 2.5 inches of rain per hour. So we're dealing with a lot of heavy rain, but the biggest threat are going to be the winds, as they're going to be gusting up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. Let's put a track on it again if we can, Jeff, especially the north sides there of Dallas County, because this is the area that was hit so hard with the storms through the evening hours with the tornadoes that touched down. A lot of damage. There are roofs off of homes. There are a lot of trees down. There are sides of maybe some roofs down as well, some walls down. So let me step back here just a bit. It's going to be the Colony right around 12:13. Euless at 12:17, the Addison area 12:29, and Allen around 12:35, Plano 12:38. So this is what we're looking at, that leading edge as it is moving east right around about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So this is what we are watching right now, and we are continuing to look at this down on the southwest sides as well, Jeff. The Erath County area, National Weather Service saying they're getting a little bit concerned with that bowing out a bit more. Remember, we talked about that a little bit earlier. If we see this leading edge maybe lead out a little bit ahead of the full entire line, that means it's picking up speed and you might have a quick spin up or maybe an embedded tornado within that. We do not have a tornado warning at all, but we're dealing with winds possibly up to near 70 miles per hour as well to the west, southwest of Stephenville, north sides of Erath County near the Dublin area. So that's also pushing east at 35 miles per hour. So that's what we're watching with this line of storms as it is moving into the North Texas area and into the Metroplex. It's going to be probably in the damage area right around about 1:30 to 2 o'clock as it's picking up, and maybe pick up some forward speed, get there a little bit sooner. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that maybe in the next 20-25 minutes actually, now looking at the latest information. So again, 20-25 minutes before we have some of the heaviest rain. Those winds really pick up north sides of Dallas County. So Steve, we're circling the area that had the tornado when it was touching down, and Jeff and I were talking about it. We might have had maybe 2, possibly 3 tornadoes touch down tonight. The National Weather Service will be out and analyzing everything for tomorrow. It's just too soon to do that, but we're going to deal with these winds that really pick up. That leading edge now is 10 miles to the west of the west side of the damage, and it's just going to make matters worse. So we have a lot of heavy rain on the way, and those winds possibly gusting up to 50 to 60 miles per hour.
You took the words right out of my mouth here, all of that. I can tell you when we see all
All right, Steve, we're not sure if your mic's on just yet, though. So, yeah, we're going to continue to watch this, and we're going to get a new mic, a new battery for Steve's mic over there. And as you know, we've been on for a number of hours, making sure that you and your family remain safe, and we're able to give you the latest information of what's going on with the severe weather that is moving here into North Texas and the damage that we saw from earlier today. We have crews spread out across parts of Dallas County, reporting live, getting into some of the neighborhoods that don't have any power right now. We've been bringing you dramatic images of people being evacuated, and we've put on some storm reports, as you can see. We're able to sample some of those, and again, this was that tornado that did touch down right around about 9 o'clock near Love Field, tracked its way through north sides of Dallas County, continued to track its way to the northeast. Near the Garland area, the Richardson area might have had a couple of tornadoes that touched down for tonight. We had thunderstorm wind damage reports as well near the Saxe area, near Garland as well. So a number of trees are down, a number of homes have been damaged. For we do know we have that confirmed tornado that touched down near Love Field that moved northeast. We had another one that we showed you video coming out of the Rockwall area. We'll see if that was the same tornado that stayed on the ground, or maybe we had a second one that touched down and moved near the Rockwall area. But that was the area, the north sides of Dallas County that we were looking at. As we backed it up even more, and then we saw, you can see on the velocity, we'll just show it to you right there. So you can see just that bright green and red next to each other, right near Love Field. Then that tracked its way to the northeast, made its way over 75, continued to track over 635, where we had our storm chaser, Jason McLaughlin, near the Richardson area, and then possibly there near Garland, a second one. There's the Rowlett area. So we might have had two separate areas of a tornado that had touched down, and then they moved their way north and east. So, Steve, that's what we were watching and analyzing as we've gone through the night tonight, and that is the area that unfortunately is about to see another line of severe storms move in.
It's an absolutely amazing night. All right, sir, thank you. We want to show folks exactly what you were talking about right around the 9 o'clock hour. Our crews were out there, those storm chasers. They knew what was happening. Our meteorologists were making people aware. That's literally, folks, live video right now that we saw in the northwest Dallas area, Royal and Tollway. That is the 5800 Royal Lane condominium area, where residents are being removed from that area right now. There's been damage in that area. No reports of injuries, but it's because of the damage we've seen at that condominium area. By the way, you also saw reports right next to that condo is the Dallas Fire and Rescue location, also encountering severe damage from this storm. So those folks, as you can see, are being removed out of that area because ostensibly concerned about what Scott was just talking about, more storms coming through this area. And we believe, obviously, there may be damage to those homes to get some of those folks out of there. Our photojournalist, Jay Johnson, taking those pictures right now. He's on the scene. Talk to me about exactly what they're doing. I believe they're just moving. Are they moving everybody out or just some residents, Jay?
They're moving everybody out for structural damage, also for the storm, the second storm that's coming that you guys have been talking about.
Hey, can you turn that around?
Yes, sir. Let me turn it around here. This young lady has been removed, evacuated from her apartment because of the danger. I'm going to shine a light so they can see where they're going here, Steve. But officers have been physically coming back, removing residents themselves. There's elderly residents here. So they're having a problem of trying to get them out with their wheelchairs and everything, with all the structural damage on the concrete. So it's been a tough task on everybody trying to get out here. You can see people trying to bring their pets out, and it's just a lot going on here, Steve, and everybody's trying to get out before the second wave come and be safe.
Jay, I know that area well, and you can head back. I know those folks are a little overwhelmed by that light that you have, but in that area, and there are a number of folks who have become empty nesters who live in that condominium community. Not all of them, but a good number of them. That's right on the cusp of the Tollway and Preston, and that particular condominium community has folks who are retirees and others who have been in that area for quite some time. And because that storm went right through that area, we've already been reporting about the severity of the damage there. They are now getting those folks out of those homes, excuse me, out of that particular condominium community, because, as Scott Padgett just mentioned, we've got more heavy rains coming, and some of those places no longer have rooftops as a result of what ostensibly has been defined as a tornado, if not more than one, coming through that northwest sector of the city. Again, just to get your bearings, folks, that's at the tollway in Royal Lane. Just a block or two to the east is Preston and Royal. Severe damage through the retail areas of that neighborhood in that intersection and the surrounding residential area, which is defined by many as the Preston Hollow area. I don't know how many people we're talking about, Jay. Have they given you any indication of, you said everyone, so I know there's about 200 units in that particular condominium area. And I know some folks, as a matter of fact, friends of mine who live there, I've been texting them as well. They said they had minor damage for them and they didn't think they'd have to get out of there. But you're thinking they're going to have to move people, most of the folks out of there, Jay?
Yes, Steve, they're going to have to move everybody out because of structural damage to the back of the complex, which is causing other areas to cave in. And then they're also anticipating the heavy storms the second round. So they decided to move out as everybody as they can. Like I said, one of the issues they're having is there's so much structural damage that they can't get the elderly out that's in wheelchairs and walkers. They can't get them across the parking lot physically, so they're having to lift and carry them across. And that's pretty much what's going on here. They're trying to get everybody out. I haven't got a count, but at least since I've been out here, there's been over a dozen people moved out physically, and they're just kind of parading out. And everybody's just trying to get out of here safely, man.
Jay, just pan right there to your right there. I want to remind folks where you are. That is essentially the antenna that is used by Dallas Fire Rescue for transmission in their station right next door to that condominium area. So that particular location not only damaged for the condominiums, but Dallas Fire Rescue in and of itself, as you saw in some of those pictures earlier, the rescue unit that they would use was caught because there was so much damage. Trees and other debris had essentially trapped that particular unit in that station house. DPD, others trying to get to that location and get more of those people out of here. We're going to get an update right now. Scott Padgett standing by with more about all of this in terms of what's facing us right now. Scott?
And thanks so much, Steve. Yeah, what we are looking at right now, and you can see, this is our Mobile 11 unit that is out on the roadways. This is northern Tarrant County, and look at the heavy rain that is coming in right now. This is Mike Kinney. Mike, you are right now in a lot of heavy rain and looks like extremely strong winds. Talk about what you're dealing with right now.
Yeah, the winds are whipping pretty good and the rain is very heavy. A lot of ponding on the road. As you can see, the power just went out. I just pulled into a racetrack to try to give you a better view, but all the power just went out here all along this part of 35 North Tarrant Parkway and Golden Triangle. I'm at Golden Triangle right now. Is there are lights out, power's out in different areas. There's some still across the street, but went out here. Yeah, we've got a lot of water on the road. People are driving with flashers on, driving very slow. Even out on the highway, you really don't want to go much faster than about 30 miles an hour because there's so much rain on your windshield. You can't see very far ahead of you. So people are stopping under the bridges and trying to just get out of this for a little bit till it passes over. But yeah, it's heavy, heavy rain. You can kind of see a little bit of the rain in front of the lights there, and it's blowing pretty good. I got out of the car before with the frontal boundary was coming through and it was just about got knocked down because the wind just hits you really hard, really fast. And so you're just looking at this storm blowing through really hard, really fast, a lot of rain.
Yeah, we're showing you right now, Mike.
On.
Yeah, and we can hear the rain that's on the windshield there. You definitely can see it as well. And just when we came to you, we saw either, looks like lightning that were in the distance and all the power go out. So we have on the screen right there where it says Storm Chaser. This is the live picture of what you're seeing right now, that heavy rain that now is just moving in near the Golden Triangle area, west sides of Keller. And this heavy rain is continuing to move in. But as I switch on over and you're able to see on the velocity that some of the strongest winds right now, and I'll stop the motion, still are off towards the west. So that's the live picture that we're showing you, at least right now, is some of the heavy rain that's moving in. And this is what you're going to see in your neighborhood. Getting some reports as well of 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts at the University of North Texas at Dallas STEM site as well. So the brighter green color, and Mike, where you're at, some of the heaviest rain is where you are, but some of the strongest winds are still back towards your west. But we have heavy rain now in the Grapevine area as well, the Flower Mound area, north sides of Tarrant County, and now into the northwest sides of Dallas County. We are dealing with some of the heaviest rain, 3-hour rainfall just in the north sides there of Tarrant County of about 1.5 inches. So that just came up pretty quick with this second line that came through. So we picked that up probably, I would guess, probably in the past maybe 10 minutes or so as the rain moved in. So that's a 3-hour rainfall rate, but that picked up pretty quick for us. So our big concern here are those winds possibly gusting up to near 60 miles per hour. Getting some reports about 2 miles southwest of White Settlement. Train spotter there reporting a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust. And what's interesting, and remember we talked about when we look at the line of storms, if we see a segment that kind of starts moving a little bit faster than the whole entire line, that's where we need to be concerned. That's what we're looking at right now, that leading edge possibly moving into the lakeside area just down to White Settlement, the west sides, and here are the winds. That brighter green color as well, showing winds possibly 62 to near 70 miles per hour. Now, we don't have reports of that reaching the surface, but we are seeing some reports of 58 to 60 miles per hour. So it's not out of the question that we're going to have some of these very strong winds, straight line winds come in, possibly maybe breaking some of the small tree branches as well. Just getting a report now, Jeff, that we're going to have a tornado warning coming for Collin County. This is coming from the National Weather Service. So I just want to point out this has not come out just yet, but indicated as we are in partnership with the National Weather Service that we are going to have a tornado warning coming out for parts of Collin County. So let's switch on over to the velocity mode if we can, Jeff, to kind of look at probably right near the Allen area. I'm guessing possibly the Allen to Fairview area. We might be seeing it right in the McKinney between this area. So sometimes, remember I talked about on that leading edge, you might see a quick spin up, and that's what we're seeing right there. We now have this tornado warning for Collin County until 1 o'clock. It's producing the storm is moving this, listen to this, Jeff, it's moving east at 55 miles per hour. So that's when you have this leading edge of storms, you might get a quick spin up. So that's why there's this tornado warning that is in effect now, and we're indicating it between the McKinney and Fairview area of this tornado warning that remains in effect until 1 o'clock. So a half hour, but it is racing to the east at 55 miles per hour. So that we will put a track on that. If you are in the path of this storm, seek shelter right now. You don't have a lot of time when these storms really pick up. So it's a small area that we're looking at, but the Wetzel area right now. Also, if you're in Fairview right now, please get into the most interior room of your home as possible. The Lowry Crossing 1231, Milligan 1232, Climax 1238, and Arnold at 1248. It is quickly making its way east-northeast. Lowest level of your house, most interior room possible, away from any windows. Please seek shelter right now. We've zoomed in even more. Here's Fairview. There's 399. This is right in the area that we're looking at. There's Stacy Road. There's Hart Road. It is to the west-southwest right now of FM 546. It is continuing to really quickly make its way east-northeast. McKinney, you're very close to this right now. Fairview, right over you right now. So, Jeff, this is what we're looking at as it's quickly making its way east-northeast.
That's the McKinney Airport right over your shoulder.
This is the McKinney Airport right here that Jeff just circled as well. So just to the west-southwest of McKinney Airport. But again, with the storm that's moving and a tornado warning moving east at 55 miles per hour, it's going to be hard for us to keep ahead of it. So that's why we're telling you right now in the New Hope area, Lowry Crossing, Milligan, please seek shelter right now. Same story, maybe near the Princeton area, just to the north of you. So we're looking at this area right now that is under that tornado warning that is still moving its way east-northeast. And it's about a half hour that we have this tornado warning that remains in effect until 1 o'clock. So we're indicating it on radar, National Weather Service. You see just there the north sides of Collin County. That does include the Melissa area. It's south of you in Melissa, but it does include the Princeton area and just to the northwest of Farmersville. If you're in the south central sides of Collin County, you're okay. Same story down to the southeast sides, but we're now tracking it again. Fairview right now, as we talked about, the Lowry Crossing area 1233, the Princeton area about 1230. 12:37, and these update quickly as that storm is racing its way eastward. Snow Hill at 12:45 in the Arnold area at 12:49. So we are looking at this. We're getting some reports as well of winds gusting up to near 60 miles per hour at UTD. Seeing power flashes apparently being reported north of President PGBT at 75 as well. So that's what we're looking at least right now. And Jeff, it's now east of 75, at least indicated by our product.
And look, these quick spin ups, as you were saying, Scott, as soon as they spin up, they do not last long.
Yeah.
And we already seen that. We already seen that signature starting to melt away. Let's hope that trend continues. But that is not to say that we won't have another one form on the line somewhere here again with the conditions as they are.
And you can kind of see on the reflectivity, see how this small area right there is bowing out even more. You kind of have that little indentation. That's what we're looking at. That's right in the area, kind of inflow notch, if you will, of those winds that are coming in. And we have that quick rotation that's happening, and that's why we do have that tornado warning that's in effect until 1 o'clock for it's a very small area of Collin County, but it is in effect until 1 o'clock for that one segment. So looking along the line, that's what we'll keep our eyes out for. Can we switch on over to the strongest wind product if you can, Jeff, to see if we're able to pick up that area as well? That's the high resolution velocity. So again, not really seeing it tightly packed there, but the shear product really is able to show that sometimes we're able to get those real quick spit ups, and that's what I was looking for right there near the Fairview area. So that's what we were looking at, crossing right over the Fairview area. Saw a little red dot right in the middle of that product, indicating some of the strongest winds. All right, and as we are, let's go ahead and take that full if we can. We're talking about the tornado warning, and Manuel is there, and the gust front is coming through right now. This is in the Richardson area, so that's out ahead. But look at this. Manuel, talk about what you're experiencing right now. Might not be able to talk about it.
Extreme winds right now.
Okay. Very strong winds, so he is in the gust front. This is.
What we got going here, we got this. We got trees coming down, and we got this house roof just came off.
All right, so
I got to get out of here, guys.
all right.
Sorry.
Manuel, please be safe. He's going to remain safe. So he just talked about a roof coming on off of a home there because of the gust front. This isn't even the strongest winds yet. These are the winds out ahead of the heaviest rain that is on the way to the damaged area where Manuel was. So we're glad that he's remaining safe. He was saying trees coming down, tree limbs coming down, the roof of a house that he was just close by, that just came down. So here's the Richardson area. So that gust front, which is that lighter green color right there, just came through, and some of the strongest winds are still back towards the west-northwest. So that's why we've been so concerned about the second area of thunderstorm activity that was going to develop and then move in, because we knew a lot of structures have been weakened by the tornadoes earlier today, and now we're dealing with winds gusting up to near about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So that was the concern of 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. That's the gust front moving through, and now some of the strongest winds are back to the west and continue to make their way in. So you see our mobile 11 unit as well, showing that it's going to be blinding rain. Heavy rain with these storms, and unfortunately heavy rain into a lot of homes that are damaged because of the tornadoes from earlier this evening. So we are still looking at this. We're watching this. The leading edge of the heaviest rain is just the heaviest winds of that gust front just now approaching some of the damaged areas, and we have more to go as we widen out the view. That's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for the north sides of Dallas County. You can see right there, that's our storm chaser. That's the picture you're seeing on your screen, that double box of all of the heavy rain. That's out in Keller. So the heaviest rain hasn't even made it to the damaged area yet. So that's what we're looking at right now. You know, Mike, we were in the Keller area. Rainfall rates possibly an 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain per hour. You've moved just a little bit. We have more power where you're at. What's it like driving around in this?
Well, I tell you what, guys, I had to stop for a second because I couldn't see a thing. There was so much rain blowing across the front here. I was approaching a circle drive right up here on Golden Triangle, and I just had to stop because I couldn't find the circle drive. And it's lightened up a little bit now, but I mean, the wind is probably hitting 50 miles an hour. I was trying to look at the windometer here, but I can't read it. So, but a lot of rain, A few spots along Golden Triangle where I really hit a lot of water on the road. So if you're out, it's not very safe. You need to drive very, very slow just to make sure you're not going into something very dangerous. And like I said, for a moment, I just couldn't see anything because there was so much rain coming across the windshield.
And that's going to be the other concern as well tonight, because you could get with ponding of the water on the roadways as well because of the rain, so much rain that is falling. So just please keep that in mind if for some reason you need to be out. They're coming back to the radar right now. You're able to see that heavy rain that we're showing you there, that is our storm chaser that is right there. In the Keller area, so he's dealing with some of the heaviest rain, and that's the story. So what you're seeing on your screen is what everyone in Roanoke seeing, in Flower Mound, Grapevine as well, stretching up to near Louisville, the Colony, seeing some of that moderate to heavy rain. Heaviest rain now near Frisco, near Plano, Allen, and Fairview, and near McKinney as well. The Melissa area seeing some of the heaviest rain. Remember, we still have this tornado warning that is in effect for that quick spin up that was possible with this tornado warning in effect until 1 o'clock for about another 24 minutes to 23 minutes, possibly to the east-northeast of the New Hope area. That's where we're looking at right now. Not as tightly packed or tightly impressive on our velocity product, but definitely something we're still keeping our eyes on. And Jeff, that was such a good call when you talked about how these quick spin-ups are there, then they quickly will dissipate. But this leading edge and where we have the potential of these quick spit-ups is moving pretty quickly at around 55 miles per hour. So in the Verona area right now, you can see the Altoga area, 1237, Frognaut, 1241, Pike at 1245, Celeste at 1251, and Hogai right around 1253 as well. So we're watching these storms. We're going to watch that leading edge for the potential of those quick spit-ups along the leading edge, and that's what we always watch when we have this line of storms come together. So we're getting some reports of about 40 to 60 mile per hour winds with this line of storms, and you can see we have that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Tarrant County, but now a new one for the south sides, it looks like, Jeff, of Tarrant County as well, parts of Johnson County, Parker County as well, and Hood County. Just to the south there, we're seeing that new severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15 as well. That does include the Granbury area where you have some of the heaviest rain that is continuing right now. So we're watching this whole entire line get warned. Weren't surprised by that. We still have the tornado watch in effect until 2 o'clock this morning. So it's no doubt that we were going to see winds gusting up to near 60 to 70 miles per hour. I'm just looking through weather chat as well right now, just seeing if there's anything else being reported from the National Weather Service. And we're still looking at, again, the threat that is there. If we have any of those segments that are bowing out a little bit ahead of the whole entire line, that's where we're going to continue to see the concern. So there's the gust front. Through Arlington, through Forest Hill now, through down Worthington Gardens, through Grand Prairie. Now some of the heaviest rain is off towards the west and to the northwest, near Lakeside, near Lake Worth. Look at that on the left side of the screen. That's our storm chaser. He's out driving now, and how quickly the water was just ponding on the roads there, and how quickly that will just cause your car to possibly hydroplane a little bit. So please, if you don't have to be out, don't get out right now. Jeff, you have something coming through.
But, you know, we were talking about the heavy rain that's around Mike, and the winds were coming in. Scott, you were warning him about that. The winds just reported at Meacham, just upstream from them, at 60 miles an hour. Okay. So there are some very strong winds now crossing northern Tarrant County, along with this tremendous rain that's going on.
And that's what we are watching. That's what's going to be, unfortunately, moving right into the area that we had the tornadoes touch down and the damage. And you saw the effects of just the gust front coming in and some of those structures that have been weakened by the tornadoes. So now potential flooding is out there on the roadways. So please keep that in mind if you're going to be out at all. We're dealing with some of the heaviest rain. So again, we have that tornado warning for Collin County. It does include the McKinney area, but I think it's now east and southeast of that. So McKinney area, you don't really have to worry about that as far as the tornado warning is concerned. Here's the severe thunderstorm warning as well for parts of the Tarrant County area. Some of the heaviest rain that is continuing to fall. So that's what we're looking at right now. 6-hour rainfall, some of the yellow color, probably more. There's the legend right there, more than 2 inches of rain, 2.5. to almost 3 inches of rain. So your typical areas that might flood when you have heavy rains like this, they're going to be flooding, at least for right now. And then that water will start to recede. We don't have any flash flood warnings being reported, at least right now. So again, a 63-mile-per-hour wind gusts are measured in National Weather Service office there in North Fort Worth. So that's coming in as well. So we are seeing winds gusting up to 65, possibly even 70 miles per hour. And that's not good news. So this could knock down some fences. This could knock down maybe some smaller trees as well, maybe some tree branches. So that's the other concern as we have these strong winds that are moving in. So I would not be surprised as this line moves through to see a number of warnings being issued as it continues to march its way eastward. Some of the strongest winds showing up, at least right now. Let's take our Fort Worth sky cam. Not able to see a whole lot, but you're able to see that the heavy rain is now in downtown Fort Worth. If we take the Fort Worth Skycam at some point, you're going to be able to see some of the strongest winds as well. A lot of heavy rain showing up on the camera as well. So there's one of our mobile 11 units that's out there driving, but we're able to see that we're dealing with some of the strongest winds just to the west of downtown Fort Worth, moving in that brighter green color, 65 to 62 mile-per-hour winds. Getting some confirmation from that from the National Weather Service, north sides of Fort Worth as well. They had a 63-mile-per-hour wind gust, so it is continuing to move its way on through. So that's tracking its way eastward, moving relatively quick right now. So you're still seeing one of our mobile 11 units. Guys, if you guys can take Sky 2 for me, our Fort Worth Skycam. All right, just if you can, I wanted to try to show just how much rain was falling on our Fort Worth Skycam, but we'll continue to track these storms. Let's just widen it out real fast, Jeff. There you go. I know it's not very impressive, but just looking at that, a lot of lightning. You can see that's what I wanted to show you. The wind that you're able to see that is just whipping around that rain. I know it's just maybe some drops on the lens to you, but at times we can see some of that rain just get whipped right by the screen. That's indicating the strong winds that are on the way. So here's the wide view of the line that is moving in. A number of severe thunderstorm warnings that remain in effect. I can show you that the tornado warning polygon has been shaved down just a bit for the northeast sides there of Collin County. So the Princeton area, it's right where you are. Also is just to the northwest of Farmersville. We're looking slightly higher up into the storm now from our radar, but you're able to see that it's not as impressive. Still potentially there for us as this is moving its way quickly off towards the east into the northeast. So heavy rain, Steve, unfortunately, as we showed you, it is just now getting into the area that was affected by the tornadoes earlier today.
Okay, sir. I know you will stay on top of it. It has been an incredible night, a tough night for many people here throughout the metro area. As you see that rain continue to fall, we have had confirmed tornadoes, at least one, if not two, as you know, in Rockwall and, of course, Dallas. We have seen damage throughout the area, all the way to Richardson, to Rockwall, northwest Dallas as well, that families, even as we speak, as this rain is headed into their direction, they are concerned because there is so many exposed residents and businesses as a result of the earlier storms and heavy winds. Schools are also impacted. We've already confirmed from Midlothian ISD, for example, all schools in Midlothian ISD are now closed because of a power outage there, we're told. However, they are asking all staffers, teachers, and other faculty to report to their schools. However, the kiddos, no school in Midlothian ISD for them. The Dallas School District also being impacted by this, primarily in the northwest sector of the city. Robin Harris, who is the spokesperson for Dallas ISD, on the line with us now. I saw some listings already. Can you update us right now, Robin?
Yes. First of all, good morning, Steve. And we can provide the latest information, which understandably it is fluid. And so for right now, we have 6 Dallas ISD schools that will be closed tomorrow. And that list entails Burnett Elementary School, Cary Middle School, Figueroa Elementary School, Pershing Elementary School, Thomas Jefferson High School, and then Walnut Hill Elementary School. So 6 closures as of right now, and that could possibly change throughout the night.
Robin, let me ask you, because I know where those are. They're right along that, what we call the Walnut Hill corridor in the northwest sector, everywhere from 75 as you head west to 35. Looking at those schools in particular, is it because of any specific damage to those schools or because of power outages? Fill us in on if you can.
Sure. As you all have shared just throughout your own newscast, there's been significant damage sustained to that general area. We've heard anything from down power lines that would block and impede traffic and getting access to a school, but also, like you said, power outages. And we've even heard in an instance or two where air conditioning units have fully been ripped from the roofs themselves. And those are just some of the things that we've experienced and seen. But obviously, the main piece that we want to make sure is that we're providing schools that are the safest and want to make sure that we can get kids into a safe facility. And we just did not see that feasibly being possible at these 6 campuses. And so that's where we wanted to share information with our families and students abroad.
Very good. I want to go back to that list one more time, folks, so people can see it. Again, these schools primarily in Northwest Dallas: Cary Middle School, Cigarroa Elementary School, Pershing Elementary School, Thomas Jefferson High School, which is right there on Walnut Hill and Marsh, Burnett Elementary School, and Walnut Hill Elementary School, also right there at Walnut Hill and Midway. So we're talking about that corridor again that we've seen most of this damage on this evening. Robin Harris, Dallas ISD, thank you so much. We'll check with you again. I know we've got this second wave coming through, so we'll try to update if we can. Folks, again, you're looking at a live image from the storms, that next front that has been coming through, and we have seen the damage throughout the area. Scott Padgett joining us now with more updates on what we're seeing right now. Scott?
And we're still seeing that heavy rain that is moving into parts of the Metroplex, Steve. So this is what we've been watching. This is what we've been a little bit more concerned about. We have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect that does include Dallas County, Tarrant County, stretching down through parts of not Ellis County, Johnson County as well. And those will continue to make their way east. Collin County as well. For parts of Hunt County, you have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect as well. Let me go ahead and start, though, with the tornado warning that still is in effect for about another 14 minutes or so. We have it in the northeast sides there of parts of Collin County, getting a little bit closer towards the Hunt County line as well. So we're watching this, and as we went through the evening hours, there was the concern of a quick spin up with these storms, and we watched that near the Princeton area and then quickly push its way east into the northeast. Really not able to find it very close, maybe possibly on the south sides, maybe another little quick spin up if it's there near the Farmersville area. But that's what we're looking at least right now. This warning has not been extended into parts of Hunt County, but this is what we're looking at as well. So the spotters are activated there. We are looking at a lot of the heaviest rain now continue to push its way in to parts of Collin County and then eventually into Hunt County, probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes. That heavy rain is going to move its way through. So this is what we're looking at, possibly just north of the Farmersville area, looking at maybe an area of rotation that we're a little bit more concerned about. So that's what we're watching at least right now as far as that storm is concerned. You can see there that we just those winds we've just now put on. See the camera shaking there? That's our Fort Worth sky cam. You can see that the winds are just shaking that camera so much as we're getting winds that are being reported up to 65 miles per hour in some spots. You can see the rain just getting whipped around. So this is what's happening now. Second line of storms is moving in to the Metroplex. A lot of lightning showing up as well. Here's the heaviest rain that now has made its way into downtown Fort Worth, is almost near the Arlington area, is moved into Bedford to near DFW as well. There's the gust front that now has pushed its way through downtown Dallas. Some of the heaviest rain right now is over Richardson. It's over University Park in the Garland area that saw the damage from the tornadoes earlier today. So some of the strongest winds not there yet. We have to wait till this makes its way in here near DFW, Grapevine, and Coppell. All of that's going to continue to push its way eastward at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So getting reports out that, Jeff, they are going to cancel the tornado warning for Collin County. As we were indicating, there's still a weak rotation that's being noted. It's south of the polygon, so that area that we were looking at as well. So they're not going to issue a new warning at the time, but it's something that they're going to watch closely, just like we were doing as well. So tornado warning for Collin County has been canceled. However, we are still dealing with a lot of the heaviest rain, those winds possibly gusting up to 50, 60, almost 70 miles per hour being reported. So, Jeff, again, you've circled the area that saw some of the damage for today from the tornadoes that touched down. That's the area that has some heavy rain, Richardson, the Saxe area, Garland area. But then here's that leading edge, that line that's moving to the east at around 30, 35 miles per hour. So as we're watching that, that's continuing to track its way eastward. And as it's doing so, Arlington right now, Carrollton about 12:57, the Farmers Branch area 12:59, Grand Prairie about 1 o'clock, University Park 1:15, Richardson 1:15 as well for yet even more rain and more strong winds that are on the way. You notice that those cities continue to update as we have these storms continue to make their way off to the east. Getting reports now possibly, well, we're looking at some of the strongest winds, maybe up to 60, 65 miles per hour. So we're going to watch that right now as these storms are continuing to move in. Louisville, Grapevine, DFW, Bedford, same story. Heavy rain for you. You can see our Mobile 11 unit right now driving through an area without any power. You see all the street lights are out there. This is in Watauga, so right there. Mike, Kitty, you're joining us again. You're driving to an area that doesn't have any, it doesn't look like any power's on right now, Mike.
Yeah, I just hit south part of Watauga, headed back into Fort Worth right now. You see some fire trucks headed there in front of me, turning the corner. I may just follow them and see where they're headed. But yeah, the power, little pockets all through Keller, Watauga, North Fort Worth, North Richland Hills, this area right up here. I'm driving 377. I'm just going to see where the fire truck is going, but they're going down into a little mobile home park over here, so there might be some damage. But yeah, the power all over the place, just little pockets here and there that you'll just come across a really dark area and have to stop for the intersections where there is no light. So.
All right, Mike, please make sure that you remain safe. So this is the story that we're going to be dealing with, these winds gusting to 60 miles per hour and possibly seeing some power outages from that. So we have circled where our storm chaser is right now. That's the live picture there in the box on the screen, right near Denton Highway as well. Some of the heaviest rain continuing to fall. So some areas the lights are on, and he's continuing to follow some, it looks like fire emergency officials as well. Getting a report now out of Farmers Branch from emergency manager there. A one-story warehouse office building lost its roof at 13721 Omega in Farmers Branch. So that's the potential as well from the damage from these storms as they're moving in. So Jeff, that's what we've talked about. When you have a squall line that moves in, you could have straight line wind damage, which could be as damaging as what we saw earlier this evening.
Yeah, and you've got to think about it, Scott, is that a lot of these structures have been weakened significantly because of the storms that came through earlier, especially the ones that were close or near the tornado path. They didn't have to hit directly by the tornado, still suffer winds that were in the 80 to 100 mile per hour range outside or just on the edge of the tornado path. And now you have these 50, 60 mile per hour winds coming in, hitting these same structures twice. But Scott, the difference this time, there is a torrential rain with this wind, so you have literally the weight of the water being pushed against these structures along with these tremendous winds.
Right, exactly. Getting some reports as well coming in. This might have been from a little bit earlier, but this was from, a couple of hours ago, but just now starting to get some more damage reports coming in. So we'll be able to analyze this and the National Weather Service as well. But out of Kaufman County, there were some power poles snapped as well. And damage to fences and trees right around County Road 137 and FM 2718. So looking at that as well. So the damage reports continue to come in from the earlier storms. And now, as we talked about, we're seeing this severe line of storms pushing its way into the Metroplex and through the Metroplex as we've been going through the past hour or so. So a lot of the heaviest rain is now in Tarrant County, just now getting closer towards parts of Johnson County, Hood, Somervell County, continuing under that severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect. That one is in effect until 1:15. So again, we're watching this. The northern edge, you can see kind of not all in one line. So it's kind of been more of a west to east flow here with this southern section or this middle section of that line of storms making its way through the north sides of the Metroplex. So maybe the wind's coming down a little bit west of Plano, the Allen area, but possibly picking up more speed as the east sides of Tarrant County go on from about DFW stretching down to near the Arlington area. I'm not sure if our Arlington's camera, if we'll be able to pick that up or not. We probably are going to be seeing some of this heavy rain pushing its way through Arlington as well, and some of those winds gusting and just blowing all that rain around. So Mobile 11 unit has been out there just tracking all of the rain for us today, and a lot of lightning with these storms. So very dark when you have that power that is out. If you're just able to see exactly what's happening for us right now, there's our storm chaser. You see that on the left side of the screen. A lot of power outages right now. So near the Watauga area, and I know we're going to be looking, and our news desk is being able to find out how many power outages we have, how many customers affected as well. Dallas County, at least a lot of Dallas County, you're doing okay. There is the gust front that's made its way through the Cockrell Hill area and the Sunnyvale area, and some of the heaviest rain is just now on the northern fringes of Dallas County, but again, right over that area. Love Field, and then pushing its way, Love Field up to near the Garland, Saxe, Rockwell area that saw the tornadoes. But this leading edge, that's the next concern, and that's moving. We're estimating east around about 30, 35 miles per hour. So Farmers Branch 1258, as we talked about again. Park at 107. So that's what we're seeing. But man, look at that with our Sky 2. That's our Fort Worth Sky camera. Look how much the rain is just blowing around there on the side of your screen there. And we just had a lightning strike very close to the station as well. So we still have that severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect for east sides there of the Tarrant County, southwest sides as well for the next severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15. So a number of severe thunderstorm warnings along this line. And this, unfortunately, what we're showing you from our Fort Worth Sky Cam, it's what's on the way to Dallas. It's what's on the way to Dallas County. It's what's on the way through Johnson County, through Ellis County as well. And I know we talk a lot about Dallas County. The reason that we're mentioning this is we're going to be dealing with that type of wind over some of the areas that were damaged so much. And Jeff, you're indicating where we're seeing a bowing of that line.
We've been watching this all night, Scott, so there's a couple things we're going to watch out for, that these winds might be picking up just as they're entering into Dallas County and the damage path done by the tornado earlier. Also, we're going to have to keep an eye on what's going on by the airport and along that frontal boundary. The same thing that had happened earlier in Collin County near Fairview, that you get that bow, and now you know, Scott and I always look what's going on just to the north of that bow to see if there's a circulation starting there. We had earlier had a brief spin-up tornado in Collin County in this scenario. We're not seeing much of a signature here, but this is, of course, just shows you just how dynamic this atmosphere still is, Scott. I mean, there's still a lot of energy out here. A lot of energy. We had temperatures today, here we are in late October, in the mid to the upper 80s, and we're going to have tomorrow temperatures in the 70s. So when you have those air masses that battle each other, this is the potential. That energy has to go somewhere, and that's what we've been talking about for the past 3 to 4 days, the potential of strong to possibly severe storms overnight tonight and into Monday, and this is what we're seeing right now. So we're seeing a lot of that heaviest rain that you're definitely thinking, well, at least we're getting some rain out of this. Yes, that's one of the benefits, but the Farmers Branch area, again, we're getting some reports of some of the heaviest rain now just coming in there. Those winds possibly gusting up to 50, 60 miles per hour. So we're watching this, getting reports as well, Jeff. That area that made its way out of Collin County, then making its way into parts of Hunt County. They're not issuing a warning at this time in the Hunt County area, but the rotation is tightening up just a little bit. So we'll watch that. The severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for Erath, Hood, Parker, and Somerville counties. So that's some better news, but still continuing for Johnson and Tarrant County until 1:15 for, again, winds gusting up to near 60 miles per hour. We've zoomed into the Hunt County area, and this is what we're looking at. So when you kind of see what it looks like a little indentation there, and that's what we call an inflow notch on that leading edge. So that's what we're looking at on some of these storms as that leading edge comes in. It's just to the west-northwest of Greenville. So the rotation is tightening up. There's not a tornado warning with this storm, but it's definitely an area that we will watch. The National Weather Service is watching as well, as we're looking at these storms now pushing into Hunt County that still has that severe thunderstorm warning, Jeff. That's a 15-minute loop, Scott,
I'm
using.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That just shows you how fast this is moving now.
So if you didn't hear the beginning of what he said, it's a 15-minute loop of the radar. That shows you how fast these storms are moving and how fast this line is moving. Normally we show it about an hour or so, but just in 15 minutes, it's just racing its way quickly off to the east. So we're looking at this, winds possibly up to near 55 to 60 miles per hour. So getting a report in Tarrant County, DFW, International Airport, 60 mile per hour wind gust. was measured there. So this is what's on the way and will continue to move through the Metroplex. These storms don't have any sign right now of weakening at all. So we're going to be dealing with this for probably the next 2 to possibly 3 hours as these storms, this whole line moves through. Let's take our Dallas sky cam right now, and you can see there. It's on the left-hand side. There's Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, but looking off there in the distance, you're able to see a lot of the lightning with these storms and a lot of the heavy rain. So I was able to see it there when you had kind of that lightning flash. It looked like the clouds were all the way down to the ground. That's a lot of the heavy rain that you're able to see as that is moving in. So we're watching this at Dallas County right now. It's now in Irving. It's just now getting its way closer to the west sides of University Park. And Jeff, I'm probably going to guess maybe about 10 minutes, and it's right over Love Field again. Yeah, and again, Scott, let's continue to do this. As we've been recapping all night what happened earlier with this tornado across parts of the north parts of Dallas County, that as we track out from about Love Field, you know, and as it went east northeast into Garland, Richardson, Saxe, this is kind of the tornado damage path. We've had crews in here showing you where the damage, all sorts of damage in this area, and this is the area it's entering right now. Yeah, and we can even zoom in our radar even more and show you some of the streets. We should be able to zoom right into where Love Field is right now. So there's Highland Park, there is University Park. So as we're zooming in just a little bit more, there's the Farmers Branch area. Again, here's University Park. Right in this area, I think there's Love Field. There's Love Field. Yeah, so there's Love Field. So right in this area is where we first initially were seeing the tornado report from our storm spotters as well, touching down right near Love Field. So again, there's Inwood Road, there's University Park, that's Meadow Road, Walnut Hill, here's Park Lane, getting close to the North Park area as well. So right in this area, right now, it's quiet. It's not going to be quiet probably in about 10 minutes because look how close the rain is. So right in this area is where we were looking at as it's tracking its way east-northeast. And Jeff, it's just what? If you want to go ahead and just give us a distance on that. So I'm kind of right in this area is where we had Love Field. If we want to go ahead, as we zoomed in just a bit more, it's back down to the west just a little bit more. So Love Field right in this area, we have some of the rain that's just now there. So maybe, gosh, a mile or two. All right, about 5 miles or so estimated on the radar, 5 or 6 miles. And it's closing fast. So we say all of that just to let you know that we are going to continue to see the winds come up. I'm just getting this report as well at DFW International Airport. I'm not sure if I said it before, 67-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So even higher than what we reported earlier. So near 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this line of storms that is moving in. There's still a lot of rescue work going on, Scott. There's a lot of people outside of their homes trying to figure out what's going on, if they're going to be able to stay in there that night. And now we're talking about this squall line approaching. And as you've been saying, it's 60, 65-mile-per-hour winds being reported now. Yeah, and those structures, as you mentioned earlier, have been weakened. Some of them don't have roofs on it. In some areas, I don't think we've been able to really assess all the damage and get to all of the damage. So, and it's unfortunate that the power's out there. I know maybe cell towers might be down or not, but if there's any way to get word to anyone that was in that area or you think was affected in that area, our first responders as well, this next line of storms is going to be something that we need to take seriously because of those winds that are gusting up to 60, even near 70 miles per hour. So that's confirmed at DFW International Airport. At DFW, 67-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And now we're seeing some of the strongest winds getting closer towards the Irving area, getting closer towards University Park as well. So we're seeing that. There's DFW. We saw that strongest wind push its way on through. You see our Dallas sky cam showing the lightning there off in the distance. So this is not going to be great. Unfortunately, even getting reports out of the about southeast of Princeton, 6 miles. A spotter reporting winds estimated about 55 miles per hour, and large cedar trees were snapped. So these storms can cause damage of their own with those winds that gust up to 50, 60, to even 70 miles per hour. So the severe thunderstorm warnings, let's just go ahead and recap if we can, Jeff. Severe thunderstorm warnings continuing for Collin County, for Hunt County, also Rockwall County and Dallas County. Let's go ahead and show the time for that until 1:15. So about another 12 minutes with that. As we go down the line, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. Tarrant County, that then made its way into parts of Dallas County. That also is until about 1:15. I will not be surprised to see these extended at all as we have this line come through. Noticing as we go down into Johnson County, this area breaking up a little bit, not as impressive on the radar, but still seeing a severe thunderstorm warning there as well until 1:15. And then Hood County and Somervell County have been taken out of severe thunderstorm warnings, but there, as you can see, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings there for parts of Bosque County as well now until 2 o'clock this morning. So, all right, this is our Fort Worth Skycam. Now we've moved it, and it's looking eastward at the lightning as that line has now pushed its way through. It is continuing to make its way through parts of Tarrant County. So the heaviest rain now east of our Fort Worth Skycam. We're able to see a little bit better. Remember, what, maybe 10 minutes ago, heavy rain, camera was shaking. The winds were just whipping that rain around. Now the heaviest rain has moved east. That is going to be the story, and that back edge is definitely showing us that we are seeing probably some cooler air behind that as well, Jeff, as the front's moving through.
And we need to let people know, we were talking about this earlier, that, the rain will clear out. There'll be with that strong north wind, but it will be a very strong north wind, and it might keep you up through the night because there's probably going to be some steady winds at 30, gusts closing in at 40 behind the front. So the good news from Decatur, Mineral Wells, and Azle, and almost all of Parker County, the severe weather has left, but that wind will not leave you alone for most of the night, Scott.
And it won't, and you're definitely going to hear that. And we've been warning you through the day today and knowing that we had those strong winds. So hopefully anything that's in your backyard that normally blows around a little bit, you've go ahead and secured it just a bit more because the winds will come up in these storms. And then we have such a change in pressure ahead and behind this frontal boundary that we're going to see those strong winds. All right, Dallas Skycam now. Remember just 3 minutes ago, we didn't have any rain in downtown Dallas, 4 minutes ago. These storms, this line is really moving east near 30, 35 miles per hour. So now a lot of the heaviest rain is now approaching Dallas, the Dallas Skycam that we're able to show you. So we had the lightning on the Fort Worth Skycam. There's now some of the rain that's getting closer towards downtown Dallas. And Jeff, that line is now over Love Field. The heaviest rain is now over Love Field, some of the strongest winds. And the reason I say that is because that's where earlier this evening that tornado touched down and then made its way east-northeast towards the Richardson area.
We still have a lot of people outside.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been trying to clean up, and our reporters were saying everyone's worried. We know there's another line of storms on the way, and now it is here. So hopefully they've been able to seek shelter, and hopefully they've been able to be in some place that's pretty safe because the blinding rain is coming in. And let's switch on over, if you want, Jeff, to the wind product if we can, because you can see heavy rain. The reds and yellows, oranges showing some of the heaviest rain. Now remember, when you see we sample these winds, they're towards or away from the radar. And we're able to see that the red is away from the radar, but still able to show you the wind speeds because our radar sight's down towards the southwest. So wind speeds possibly up to near 55 to near 60 miles per hour. The picture now you now see on your screen is coming out of Carrollton. Some of the heavier rain there. Not noticing strong winds. Power is still good there, but we are seeing some of the lightning as well showing up. But those winds are gusting up to near 50 to possibly even 60 miles per hour, indicated by our radar product as well. So do want to point out, Jeff, that the Collin and Denton County warnings will be allowed to expire. Most likely going to continue a warning for Dallas County. And that's not a surprise, as that leading edge is just now making its way into, and we just had that come through. Severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas, Hunt, Rockwall, and Tarrant until 1:15. So we're looking at that as it is tracking its way in, and it's not a surprise because of the heavier rain. And
there, I wanted to show you that. I had that up in that purple.
Yeah.
That's 3-4 inches per hour at least. And look at it just racing now across the damage path.
Yeah, it's racing across the damage path, unfortunately, and with that, we're seeing maybe those winds that are gusting to near 50 to 60. So that's one of the biggest concerns. I'm not going to be surprised if we get reports out of maybe some more structures or portions of structures coming down from this, maybe even some more trees coming down or tree limbs coming down. And if you think about it, there's a lot of debris that's just laying around.
Yeah.
And those winds can pick up some of that debris and fling it across someplace and cause even more damage. So
and debris on structures, on trees. more weight there.
Yeah, and the trees can come down if things are wrapped. So this is unfortunately not a good situation at all. And I know that we are all taking this seriously, and we all here in North Texas are praying for our neighbors and our family and anyone and our friends that are there, our fellow Texans, as we have this now coming its way through. So University Park down to Irving, down to Dallas, some of the heavy rain. You can see our storm chaser now. Yeah, there's still some light rain there. So this is going to be a quick situation, maybe a 15 to 20 minute window, maybe 25 minutes of this line moving through. And then behind that, we're going to see strong winds as well, but the rain will come to an end. But rain on roofs that aren't there is not going to be great at all. So this is what we're looking at right now. Here's the Dallas Skycam, and this is exactly what we saw in Fort Worth with the Fort Worth Skycam. The blinding rain that was coming in. Yes, our camera's high up. We get that. A lot of heavy rain with this, and those winds are just whipping around even more. So what we're showing you, these live pictures coming out of downtown Dallas, that's right in this area as well. As you can see, there's downtown Dallas, there's the Oak Cliff area, there's Route Street, again, right around Reunion Tower. That's where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain. So what you're seeing on your screen is what they're seeing in North Dallas as well. Heavy rain, and so there's all of this heavy rain from Highland Park stretching down to Dallas, Cockrell Hill as well, over the Irving and the Grand Prairie area, and now into Richardson. So this is the time that we are seeing those strong winds that are happening and seeing all of this heavy rain. I will not be surprised to see maybe 2 to 3 inches of rain fall in this short window that we're going to be seeing these winds move their way through. So Jeff, 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, not great as we've been talking about. I know all of our reporters and our crews are remaining safe as well. Really not showing up on our the storm relative velocity product, but we're seeing that right now on our high resolution velocity, 40, 45 miles per hour, 34 to 30 miles per hour. But remember when the gust front came through, we were having winds maybe gusting up to 30 to 45 miles per hour. We showed you those live pictures from a little bit earlier with one of our reporters that was there. The trees were blowing and a portion of a roof just came off just from that gust front. And that wasn't even some of the strongest winds yet.
No, and keep in mind, Scott, and I think you had mentioned this earlier, is that, you know, the beam goes straight out, you know, from Spinksfield and hits anything moving, in this case would be rain, and can pick up the velocity. Well, it's actually moving this way, all right? So we're almost seeing the lateral movement, a portion of the lateral movement. So you're really not, these things aren't moving directly away from the radar beam, so they underestimate the wind, is my point.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're seeing readings on the 50 mile per hour range, but they're more likely in that 60 mile per hour range. And the reason we're saying that, Scott, is that, yeah, when they were moving over Tarrant County, they were 60 mile per hour winds.
Exactly. And so that's what we're looking at. I'm not sure if you could turn over to the terminal radar at all. We might be able to look at that coming out of Love Field to see if we get a better sampling of the winds. But either way, these winds are extremely strong and something that we are definitely concerned about and we are definitely worried about. There's, as you can see, the radar site right there, west-northwest of Farmers Branch area of the Dallas radar. But we're seeing this right now, the heavy rain that's moving in. I just got a report from my producer there, Tim Anders. You're on the phone with us now. Tim, where are you located and what are you dealing with?
I'm actually in Mobile 11, so you can take my camera. I am getting on 635 heading west, passing Preston Road, and the rain just became really intense. Some people have pulled over on the side of the road because they don't want to have to deal with it. But as you can probably see in my live shot, a lot of people have their hazard lights on, and they have slowed down, say, till about 40 miles per hour on this road. It travels normally at 70 miles per hour. So people are really taking it easy, and this the ponding on the roads is happening really quick, and the rain's coming down along with the winds. I'm in a SUV, and it's just shaking it pretty good right now, Scott.
And Tim, have you? We're sampling the rainfall rates of about maybe an inch and a half of rain to almost 3 to 4 inches of rain per hour. Have you noticed any hydroplaning at all? I know you're in the SUV with the Mobile 11 units.
Well,
are you noticing any hydroplaning at all?
Scott, I may be coming up on a hydroplane incident right now.
Okay. We can see there we have some flashing lights. Tim, if you can talk about it. Yeah, this is the potential that we've seen. And Tim, what's that look like for you? It looks like we have an accident.
Yep, that's exactly what we have. We have a hydroplaned vehicle that is actually now facing the wrong direction.
So that shows how quickly, and Tim, thank you for staying safe there as we're reporting this live here on the air. So this, again, is the possibility of some of the heaviest rain. You have rainfall rates of 1.5 to 2.5, almost 3 inches of rain per hour. Your car can hydroplane pretty quickly is exactly what we're seeing right there. First responders there on the scene making sure that that driver is remaining safe.
How you doing, officer?
And
Okay? Was this a hydroplaning situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there we go.
She's okay?
He's okay, yeah.
Okay.
We get a record out here to get it out.
Okay, so it won't be long?
No.
All right, thank you so much.
Hey, Tim, we overheard your
Scott, I don't know if you were
conversation.
listening.
Yeah, go ahead and just repeat what you had and tell us your location if you can.
I'm at 635 at the Preston exit off of 635 heading west, and I just spoke with a DPD officer, and he said basically this was a hydroplane situation. Young man is okay, but it was just the way he said that the guy was not driving that fast, and I need to get out the way, by the way. He told me a wrecker's coming.
All right.
And he said that he hydroplaned and ran into the wall there.
And that's exactly what we were concerned about. And Tim, you and I were just talking about that right when you came up on the scene. So
Right.
That is the concern. Tim Anders, thank you so much for being in our Mobile 11 unit. That is the other story of the rainfall rates, the ponding of the water on the roadways possible. Please keep slow. Just drive slow. If you have to be out for any reason, we have this severe thunderstorm warning that's continuing. There's our Mobile 11 unit right there. The live pictures that you see there on the left side of your screen, that is Tim Anders' indication of where we were. So he was just indicating the hydroplaning as he's continued to travel its way off to the west. So there's Hillcrest Road on his way towards Inwood. And this is the same area that saw all of the damage from the tornadoes earlier. So we have heavy rain all the way through downtown Dallas, University Park, stretching down to south sides of Dallas County on this way to Duncanville, DeSoto. You don't have it yet. You're seeing the gust front. Those winds have come up for you, and all the way down, stretching through Worthington Gardens and back into parts of Tarrant County. So, Jeff, this is what we're seeing. And again, winds still 50, possibly 60 miles per hour. That doesn't mean that we need to take these storms lightly at all.
No, that hence the warnings. And with the softening of the beachhead, if you will, because of the tornado winds that came earlier, this is like insult to injury,
Yeah.
Scott. They've had a tremendously traumatic night, and though we picked up this line of thunderstorms when it was way out to the west and started warning everybody, this line is going to come into the Metroplex. This is going to be a big rain, big wind, lots of lightning event, and here we are now in the midst of it. And as you can tell from our various views we're showing you, it is an extremely dangerous out there driving around because of all the water that is continuing to be ponding on the roads. We were just showing you that incident of hydroplaning because of the water on the roads. Yeah, there was, as we were covering the tornado outbreak, there were also heavy rains with that as well. They were brief, but there was heavy rain, and now this is even heavier rain coming in behind it. So we could, I would not be surprised, Scott, that we get into some flash flood advisories at least, because this rain continues to pour down.
And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all because of those low-lying areas that might see that water just pond pretty quickly. So it's those typical low-lying areas that you're used to. You know it. You've driven on these roadways a lot, so you know where it's going to flood when you have a heavy rain. So just keep that in mind. Plan accordingly. Let's go ahead and widen out the whole entire view if everyone's just joining us now. And we have severe thunderstorm warnings for Delta County. It looks like Rains County, Hunt County as well. This went in effect until 2:15. Paris, you have a severe thunderstorm as well for you. That one, is until about 2 o'clock in the morning as well. So we have the heavy rain that is moving in on that northern edge of this squall line that's moving through. Winds, again, the biggest threat. We haven't seen a lot of hail reports at all coming out of this line, and we knew that probably wasn't going to be the highest threat, but it was definitely going to be there. The highest threat were going to be those winds of 50, 60, possibly even 70 miles per hour. So we've had some reports of that. For parts of the Kaufman County area, also now Ellis County, severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 2:15. That does include Rockwall County and also stretching into the north sides of Dallas County, southeast sides of Tarrant, also into Johnson County, that big, in a sense, polygon box, as we call it, that warning box, because of that line of storms that is moving its way east at about 35 miles per hour for our latest estimation there, Jeff. And then we travel down the line even more. Bosque County, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning until 2 o'clock as well. So we want to show you some video. This was the gust front that was coming through Richardson earlier this evening. So those were winds possibly maybe 40, 50 miles per hour. So we're going to pop that video up here for you. Yeah, we're just going to listen into this.
This is extreme winds right now. We got trees coming down, and we got this house roof just came off.
So that was from earlier this evening. You can just hear the wind. I would say it's a... All right, hold on. We're going to listen in a little bit more from the producers. Terrifying situation for everyone in Richardson. The home's ripped off. You see people outside. This is just from the gust front. I can't imagine just seeing those winds that are 30, 40, 50 miles per hour out ahead of the strongest storms that are on the way for people that were just cleaning up from the tornadoes from earlier. You noticed that there were people running inside trying to get people out of a home that their roof that was there had then just been pushed off by that gust front. So these are winds that are out ahead of a thunderstorm that get pushed out as we have these storms move in. You can see that on our radar. See that thin green line right there? That's the gust front. Jeff, if we can back up the time on that to maybe show where the gust front was as it was moving into Richardson. We're going to back up the radar by maybe about an hour and a half or so as the gust front was moving through. So that thin line that you see right there, that's what we just showed you. So there it is, right around 12:30 this morning, right there, that's the gust front. You just saw the video of what that was as it's moving through. These winds come out ahead of a thunderstorm. They get pushed out and out ahead of a thunderstorm, and we're seeing those winds maybe 40, 50 miles per hour, even slightly higher than that. That's out ahead of some of the winds that were maybe 60 to 70 miles per hour. So that gust front moved through, and now this is what that same area that you just saw, they're dealing with rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches of rain per hour. And winds possibly, again, within this, gusting up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. It's just a bad situation tonight.
So tomorrow, the insurance adjusters or maybe the local fire department will come look at that structure, Scott, and they're going to say, you can't live in this anymore. This is structurally unsound. Yeah. So you imagine what it was, how terrifying it must have been, even with a 40-mile-per-hour wind in a structure that had been so heavily damaged. Well, now you're wondering, will this whole thing come down?
Yeah.
Will the whole thing collapse? Is this enough wind to drop the house that the tornado didn't quite finish off? And now we're talking about the heavy rain that's now pouring inside these structures because of the strong winds and the rainfall rates combining to really bring on these just terrible situations for these people.
Yeah, and hopefully what was that house that we showed you is still there for us. So this is what we're dealing with tonight. Let's go ahead and widen out that view even more if we can, Jeff. I want to go ahead and show, if we want to switch on over, maybe from just a national, I want to show how long this line is. If we can show you that we're not the only ones dealing with this. This stretches all the way up into Oklahoma, into Arkansas, into Missouri. Look at this whole entire line. This is the cold front that is slicing through this warm air, even into parts of Iowa. So kind of, by the way the crow flies, about 944 miles that we are seeing this line that is moving in. So we're on the south side of that. We're not only dealing with it, it stretches all the way down to near San Antonio, and Austin's going to deal with that as well. And so it's slicing. Yeah. I mean, look, all of these warnings, there are a number of tornado warnings in there. You see all these flashing boxes. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings as well. So continuing, there's a tornado warning in parts of Missouri. There's tornado warning as well in parts of Missouri. So the reason we're mentioning this is that we're not the only ones dealing with this. This whole entire cold front is battling this warmer and moist air mass that's in place. and we're now seeing that move through. So let's get back here to North Texas if we can, to show you that we're still seeing this squall line moving its way through, and we're dealing with the heaviest rain that is making its way into Collin County, stretching into Dallas County as well, and racing its way eastward. So Balch Springs, Mesquite, the Hutchins area, you're about to see some of the heaviest rain. Seagoville down to near Wilmer, you have that gust front that's just now pushing in. Jeff.
You know, Scott, this is what I've noticed just over the last 15 minutes. You see how the line is getting more linear?
Yes.
So this bodes well for us, I believe.
I agree.
Would you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So remember, as we've gone through the night, we've said if we ever see a section of this line that kind of, as we say, bows out a little bit ahead of it, so it looks like that section's moving faster than the whole entire line, that's where you're going to have winds maybe even higher, 60 to near 70 miles per hour. We don't have that right now. So that doesn't mean that we're not dealing with severe thunderstorms, but maybe the winds aren't as strong, but still maybe near 50 miles per hour. So at least right now we don't have that bowing happening, and we also don't have any of those notches that we've been looking at for the potential of those quick spit ups. So we still have the severe thunderstorm warning that does include the Kaufman County area, Ellis County, also parts of Tarrant County, stretching down to Johnson County and Rockwell County until 2:15 this morning. So you're probably hearing some of that right now, hearing the thunder over your neighborhood, a lot of heavy rain with this. So it's maybe waking you up. Just want to point out there are no tornado warnings with this, but we are dealing with these severe thunderstorm warnings also for Hunt County, stretching up to Delta County, Hopkins County. There's that northern side as well. So we are dealing with this, and you notice a lot of power outages. I'm not sure, producers, whose picture do we have up right now? When you guys know, just when you guys can get my ear, just let me know what we're looking at. So driving around, is this Tim still? All right, that's Tim Anders still. Thank you, Steve. We're still looking at Tim Anders driving around. You can see even some debris there on the roadways.
Look at all that on the roads.
Yeah, so not sure where that came from, what that was from, but again, that could just be some trash. Who knows? With the water that picked up and then just left it there as well. And you notice there, even more flashing lights there on the left side of the screen. If we can get Tim back on the phone, just want to maybe just check in with him. Hey, Tim, you know, you're still out there driving around the roadways. What are you seeing? What's been going on?
Well, you were talking about that you noticed some debris just off to the side of me there.
Yes.
Well, that was pieces of a building that was under construction, and when the lightning happened, I was able to see it, and it is demolished. So that is from a building that was under construction, and pieces of it has made its way onto the highway there.
And you can see, and so we have you on our screen right now. So what roadway are you on right now?
I'm at 35 and Northwest Highway.
Yeah, it looks like okay. So we're possibly going to be able to find that building that you were just talking about as we've zoomed in even more. So there's our mobile loving you, that live picture that you see there. So yeah, Tim,
and this is the flooding that I was looking for right here.
And there you go. So Tim is able to show you that we do have some of that water that's pooling in some of the lowest areas. So you know that when you get off of maybe some of the interstates, the underpasses, that water right there might be hard to see tonight because you're in an area, Tim, it looks like the power's out as well.
Correct. The power is out, and not everywhere, but the intersections that I've passed through, the power is out. If I look back toward the east, I can see about a quarter of a mile that the power is on that direction. So I'm traveling west now on Northwest Highway, and the power is out everywhere around here. I'm trying to make my way back over to that building to see if I can see it, because just from the lightning flash and looking at it, it looked really bad. Even though it was just a building under construction, it was destroyed. So I guess they'll be rebuilding it again.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Not a surprise there, maybe, if it's under construction with some of the strongest winds that just moved in at that leading edge of these storms as well. Jeff.
You know, Scott, that makes us think, doesn't it, about tomorrow morning's commute? I mean, maybe you're coming down from the north, your neighborhood wasn't hit bad, you were woken up by the lightning, the heavy rain, but now you're driving into Dallas County. Tomorrow morning, there might be a lot of debris on the roads across northern Dallas County.
And so just give yourself some extra time. Madison Sawyer will be in here with us. She's our traffic expert, be able to help you navigate some of these roadways that might have water on them if it's still there for some reason, or even some of the damaged spots as well. So
construction areas.
Yeah, the construction areas. So we'll definitely make sure that we get you and your kids to school, or you to your destination safe. Let's widen out the view again, because heavy rain now, Tarrant County, that's ended for you. Southeast sides of Tarrant County, it still is there, but we're still seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings continuing now for Dallas County, Rockwall County, stretching down to the northwest sides of Ellis County. But again, I mean, I'm looking at this, and yes, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning and possibly those winds gusting up, but it's looking a little bit more like, I wouldn't say it's weakening, but it's not as big of a concern as what we saw initially as it was coming into the Metroplex.
We're getting later and later into the night. You know, the heat of the day further and further back in the background now, and with the line getting a little bit more linear, at least over here and outside of the, in the Metroplex and moving off to the east, the storm's not looking as ferocious as they were just when they were crossing into the west side of Dallas. Scott, we were so concerned when they were just leaving Tarrant County, and we were getting those reports of 67-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that line now coming across Dallas County certainly is packing a wallop, and with the heavy rain causing all sorts of problems and heartache. But I still think that this line that we're seeing up across the north over Lamar County and over into Hopkins, this is leaving Hunt County, this is probably still producing some pretty strong winds. The reflectivity seems to be a little bit higher there, but perhaps this system is starting to wind down a little bit. It certainly is due. It has created enough havoc for us here so far tonight.
It definitely has. So we're going to continue to look at this. We're going to analyze the radar a little bit more, look at maybe how the temperatures are dropping behind the front. And then the other thing is the winds are going to be strong behind this frontal boundary as well. We'll have more on that. Steve, this is what we are watching. So much rain falling. And as Tim showed you, some hydroplaning on the roads. And unfortunately, when we showed you that video coming of the gust front over the Richardson area, what they were dealing with just those winds. And now they're dealing with a lot of rain as well.
And I want to keep on that image that Tim Andrews, photojournalist Tim Andrews, has right now, as you mentioned, Scott, looking at that video, because there's a reason why we want you to see that, folks. It is dark. 65,000 people in Dallas right now without power, we are told. Obviously, there's concern throughout the area because of the damage we've seen that is pretty extensive, primarily in the northwest Dallas sector, and again also in northeast Dallas along the Central Expressway 75 corridor as we get into 635. 6 schools for Dallas ISD are now officially closed. Almost all of those from those 6 are in the northwest sector. Also, there is the list there: Cary Middle School, Cigaroa Elementary School, Pershing, Thomas Jefferson, which is right there in that storm corridor where we saw so much damage, right along Walnut Hill, Midway, Marsh Lane, all of those areas. Walnut Hill Elementary School right there at Walnut Hill and Midway, Burnett Elementary School. All of those schools are closed for the kids. There are plans, we are told, by the district for the faculty, for employees to please check in, because they do need you back working on tomorrow. But as far as getting into those campuses, no students tomorrow. Also, Midlothian ISD closed because of power outages there, we are told as well. And also Episcopal School of Dallas also closed because of concerns about power and possible damage at that campus as well. The city of Dallas telling us now there is a location folks can go to, the Bachman Recreation Center, right there on Loop 12, right behind Love Field in that northwest Dallas area. It is now open for families that need shelter as a result of what you're seeing right now. So many people there impacted in the northwest sector. We are told the Red Cross will be there on standby to assist those families. If you need shelter tonight, early this morning, now 1:32 a.m., that the Bachman Rec Center, again, that's right there on Loop 12, Northwest Highway, near Webb Chapel. That Webb Chapel extension you saw from Ken Molestina earlier tonight, extensive damage for apartment complexes and homeowners in that area. He now at our Dallas newsroom at the Dallas Tower now with more updates on more of all of this tonight. Ken? Don't think Hello? Ken can hear us at this point. So
Steve, I'm here. Steve,
Go,
can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right, yeah. So, we were in that area that you were just mentioning, the northwest area, and then when the storms began to pick up again, the photographers that we were with, the entire crews, we had to get out of the area. So we are now located back at the CBS Tower just off of 75 and Coit. So we're kind of hunkered down here at this building waiting for this to pass over. But I can tell you, just looking out the windows, you can see a lot of lightning. You can hear the wind whistling outdoors. And again, the situation out here is one where the storm really just picked up in really just a couple of matter of minutes from when we were essentially bringing you live shots from that area off of Walnut Hill and Monroe, northwest Dallas that you were mentioning, Steve. But we had to get out of there. We knew that the bad weather was coming, that round 2 was coming. There was so much debris around there, so many things that could kick up again and, sort of become a danger. So we had to get out of the area. And I can tell you that on the way back here to 75 and Coit, where we find ourselves now, again, the streets were blacked out, lights were gone, and it was a very similar sight, sort of block after block, when you talk about some of the damage going on with signs bent over, mangled metal on the streets, trees that were snapped, cars that were damaged. And again, that's just as much as we could see at nighttime. Obviously tomorrow morning, daylight will bring a brand new perspective of just how bad the situation is. But right now, we are currently hunkered down, waiting for this second wave to hopefully pass, and keeping my fingers crossed, praying for everybody out there, and hoping, Steve, that this is over. Once this wave passes, hoping that this is it. Maybe if Scott can give us a little information on that, that'd be great. If he could just update us. 75 in Coit is where we are, and again, as soon as this storm passes over, we'll be back out on the streets to survey.
I can tell you right now, Ken, just to your east, if you look out the east windows, severe damage there in that Hamilton Park neighborhood, right there at Forest Lane and Central Expressway. Yeah. Also that Home Depot there. We have talked about throughout the night in that sector of Dallas. Many homes, as you mentioned, when daylight hits, you will see the impact of all of this. Our guys right now still looking at these storms, that line, that incredible line that is impacting, from here all the way up to Kansas, I believe. And that's what people are facing as we speak right now. I can tell you that the city of Dallas telling us right now, only 6 reported injuries. No serious injuries, only 6 reported injuries at this point. No fatalities. There is concern about a gas leak in the North Dallas area, just north of the Walnut Hill area. We are told that there is concern about gas leaks up there. Encore, according to the city of Dallas, addressing those issues, and they're asking people if they smell gas to please contact them. And they've been dealing with that issue most of the evening. Approximately 35 traffic signals, most in the northwest sector of the city, still out as a result. As Tim Andrus, folks, as you're looking at our photojournalist pictures right there, as he drives in that area, it is pitch black for a reason. Now, the storm seems to have gone through there. We don't see heavy rain coming through there. He is driving through some of those ponding areas in the northwest sector. I believe he went all the way through 635, almost to the airport, and is ostensibly turned around and checked some of those areas. I want to report to you also, folks, other areas. As you know, Rockwall impacted as well with a confirmed tornado that we saw on video from earlier this evening. We were told by the city of Saxe at least 4 homes they defined as uninhabited right now because of strong line winds impacting some of those houses. And our other photojournalist, Manuel Villela, in the Richardson area as well tonight. The Bowser Buckingham location, severe damage for a number of houses. And the concern tonight, obviously, is that most of those people got out there fine, but that straight line of those storms coming back through for that second wave impacting those very neighborhoods as a result of this rain. I want to get it back to you guys real quick to update us.
Thanks so much, Steve. And as we were looking at this, we want to point out that, remember how we've been talking about that line and we look for any notches that might be coming in? We're a little bit more concerned now in parts of Ellis County, right near the Maypearl area. See kind of that little, looks like winds coming in, that little kind of dip in a sense, that little notch in. So that's what we're a little bit more worried about. And you can see maybe a broad rotation that we could see one of those quick spin ups on that leading edge as well. So this is near the Maypearl area. We do not have a tornado warning with this. We don't have anything on the ground, but this is an area of concern that we are looking at between the, it looks like now east-northeast of Maypearl, and that's racing its way also off to these probably around 30-35 miles per hour. This is southwest of the Waxahachie area, and it is continuing to make its way eastward in central sides of Ellis County. So there is not a severe thunderstorm warning at all. I'm sorry, not a tornado warning. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect. Waxahachie area, it's going to be there right around about 150. Rieger Springs, 157. The Ike area, 158. Boyce, just about 2 o'clock. So this is that area of maybe a broad area of rotation that we're looking at. We don't have any reports at all from any of the storm spotters that are out there of maybe a wall cloud or not. So this is the area that the National Weather Service is looking at as well, that if there would be any quick spin-ups, it might be on this leading edge down through parts of Ellis County as this line of storms is moving in. So that's what we're looking at right now. I do want to point out, and Ken Molesina was saying to us earlier, near 75 in Coit, Jeff, if they're in the clear, the heaviest rain now is continuing to make its way through central sides of Dallas County, the 75 in Coit area, still seeing some of the heavy rain. The lightning is close by. But it looks like possibly some of the strongest winds from the thunderstorms slowly pushing their way east. They're still dealing with some of the moderate to heavier rain, Ken, if you're listening as well with us. Thanks for that phone interview and report that you were able to give us. But still heavy rain, Rockwall, Mesquite, Bulk Springs, Dallas, downtown Dallas as well. The west and northwest sides of Dallas County not included in that severe thunderstorm warning anymore. Tarrant County, you're pretty much in the clear right now. Same story, Denton County. Everyone west of this line, you should be doing all right, Jeff.
Yeah, that's the good news, right, is that the severe weather threat is gone out of Tarrant County now. But why don't you tell them that one caveat about this front coming through?
Yeah, the one caveat of the front's coming through is, yeah, we're going to have the temperatures drop, but we still could have winds very strong behind the front because of such a change in pressure systems. So we could have winds near 50 to 60 miles per hour gusting. This is sampling some of this right now behind the frontal boundary, but we're going to be dealing still with those winds that are going to be probably waking you up maybe a little bit. So those stronger winds as we see this front slide its way through. And we'll show that to you when we get to Max 2 coming up a little bit later on. We have that product I'll be able to show you. But right now we're showing the radar and showing you some of the heaviest rain that's moving through. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings continuing. Dallas County, Rockwall County, parts of Hunt County, Kaufman County as well. You do have the lightning that is moving into Greenville, Commerce, Sulphur Springs. If you're just now joining us, just severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, the biggest threat for you are those straight line winds, possibly causing some damage and ponding of the water on the roadways. We are seeing some of the heavy rain continuing all the way down through parts of Dallas County. But Steve, I hear you have an update as well?
Yes, we want to check with Encore right now about the magnitude of so many of these outages throughout the area. Carrie Dunn from Encore joining us by phone. I heard earlier tonight, Carrie, about 65,000 people right now. Can you update us right now?
Hi, Steve. So right now we're looking at around 111,000 outages across our service territory, with the majority of those being in the Dallas area. Just as you've covered, so earlier this evening we had some pretty significant weather come through, and we're currently in that second round of storms. Right outside of everyone's windows, you're going to see lightning, you're going to see wind, both of which are going to be very damaging to our infrastructure. We did have that confirmed tornado touchdown in North Dallas, and we've had reports of additional tornadoes in the area that we're still seeking confirmation on. Our highest priority right now is just safety for our customers and for our crews. So we're going to have our crews out on the road working on restoration as soon as it's safe for them to do so. But with these storms still currently moving through, just biggest focus is please asking everyone to do what they can to keep themselves and their families safe. So staying indoors, staying off the roads, and know that we're on it. We're going to get the power restored as quickly and safely as we can.
These 111,000 people at this point, Carrie, are we primarily talking about the northwest, northeast Dallas area, or is this just citywide?
This is mostly in Dallas North, Lakewood, Lake Highlands, Garland, Greenville area. That's definitely where we're seeing our most significant outages. in line, especially with where we had the confirmed touchdown tornado in the North Dallas area. We've got significant damage in these isolated areas, so there's going to require some reconstruction of our infrastructure. That can be a little bit more expensive, a little more time-consuming, but we're certainly going to be updating our customers as soon as we can. We'll have our crews on the road, both assessing that damage and working on restoration as quickly and safely as possible as soon as we can safely get them out on that road. Again, we're still in that second round of storms. We're going to see this bad weather continue through about 6 a.m. So right now, we're just, again, asking everyone to please stay safe, stay patient, know that we're on it, we're paying attention to this, and we're going to work on restoration. But safety is our top priority.
Carrie Dunn, Encore, thank you very much. Folks, 111,000 people without power, and I can tell you, for many of them, that power issue may be the least important thing for them because their homes are gone. I'm just receiving photos from City Council member Adam Magoo in the Lake Highlands area. He just showed me a picture of one neighborhood there right off of 75 and Forest Lane. There's major damage in that area. It's very extensive. Throughout the night, we have seen so many of these neighborhoods impacted by what is now a confirmed tornado along that corridor from west to east, heading north from the Preston Hollow neighborhoods into the tip of Lake Highlands, into Richardson, and so much indications of the trouble that we saw starting at 9 o'clock this evening. Obviously, the concern right now is what you saw in terms of that storm front. But look at these images here. This is that Home Depot location. This was just sent to me by City Council member Adam Magoo. That's at 75 and Forest Lane. The front structure, it's gone. I mean, it has been damaged severely. And just to the north of that particular retail center for Home Depot is a subdivision. Hamilton Park sits up on a hill right there off of Forest Lane. We are told, and I've seen the pictures already, a number of homes, a number of homeowners impacted. Also, if you head to the west, Tollway and Royal Lane. Again, we're re-showing you this footage here from what was reported earlier regarding the Home Depot at Forest and Central. If you head to the west, right on Royal Lane and the Tollway, a number of homes in that Preston Hollow area also impacted by this tornado with substantial damage not only for residential areas, but the retail shopping center areas as well. Again, from the city of Dallas at this point, no major injuries to report. Obviously, first responders all throughout the area still checking on these locations as it continues to expand all the way to Richardson. We saw a tornado in Rockwall, and then you see that line of storms right there. I'm looking at DeSoto, Seagoville, southern parts of Dallas County. Our weather team has been on this most of the night, and those folks are now what looks like they're being drenched. Scott, call me crazy, but that's just a mess right now.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to call you crazy, Steve, but yeah, it is a mess because of so much heavy rain with this. Those rainfall rates of possibly 2 inches of rain per hour or higher. This severe thunderstorm warning continues for about another half of an hour, 29 minutes. That does include the Hunt County area, Kaufman County, Rockwall, Dallas as well, down into parts of Ellis County. So we're seeing this moving in, and the bigger concern for me right now is between just near Waxahachie, Pecan Hill as well. So you can kind of see that little dip. So still not seeing any tornado warnings coming out of this, but right near Waxahachie right now, maybe some broad rotation with this segment of this line of storms that is moving through. So we still have that severe thunderstorm warning continuing. It's hard to possibly see at night to see if we have a lowering there at all. With our storm spotters out there, they have to wait for some lightning to be able to see. But indicated by radar, we might have that broad rotation moving through the east and central sides of Ellis County, right near Waxahachie, and then continue to make its way eastward near Ennis and to near the Palmer area. So Ennis and Palmer right now, no rain for you. You just have a lot of lightning off in the distance. You probably can hear the rumbles of thunder as well. This will move into your neighborhood pretty quickly because this whole entire line still estimated about moving east near about maybe 30 miles per hour or so as we've been watching these storms move in. If we can switch on over to Max 2 real quick, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, that behind that line of storms is the cold front that's going to slide its way through it. I want to point out, here we are getting closer towards 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and behind this frontal boundary, winds are going to be gusting up to possibly 30 miles per hour or even higher than that going into the morning commute. Kids at the bus stops going to be dealing with those gusty winds and then eventually dying down by the time we go into the late morning hours. But we have a big change on the way with the cold front that's moving through. Jeff, just look at this. It is 79 in Corsicana, 79 in Athens, to 78 in Tyler. It's 60 in Bowie.
Look at that.
It is 60 in Gainesville. That's the cold front. That's the cold air that's on the way here. It is 65 in Denton. So where we haven't seen all the rain move through yet, still 71 Terrell, Waxahachie about 78. So we haven't seen that cold air mass slice its way through. But that's showing you still at almost 2 o'clock in the morning, temperatures near 80 degrees.
And, you know, and behind that front, Scott, so let's say in the next couple of hours we'll be in the mid-50s up there in Bowie. That's also with a 30, 40 mile per hour wind, by the way. So everybody's going to need a coat as this front comes through tomorrow morning.
Right. So, yeah, I was just having a producer talk to me as well. So if you're just coming back to us or just now joining us, let's go back to our Lynx radar. But there's the temperature change that's on the way and why we had the threat of severe weather for today, a slight to a moderate risk of severe storms. The tornado threat was not low. I mean, it wasn't non-existent. It was low, but it definitely is there. And we know it only takes one to cause damage for your home, and that's enough. We never want that to happen. And we're going to be able to show you some video coming up from our storm chaser that was in the right spot to be able to see the tornado crossing through parts of Dallas County as well as it touched down and was moving through. So we have a team of meteorologists, and also we have our storm chasers that partner with us that are able to see and get into the right position to help you and your family know where the storms are and where it's going to so you remain safe. So here it is from a little bit earlier. Jeff, you were on the air with him. So Jeff, talk us through this.
So this is Jason McLaughlin just to the north of the storm. And as he approached it, the storm actually moved to the northwest in towards him. And the tornado ended up to be almost right over him as it crossed the road. He did not mean to get this close to it, but if you look straight ahead, Scott, you can see it really in between the flashes at crossing. But more importantly, notice how the winds shifted on him as he pulled over, and that was the tornado getting very close to him and literally the side of it crossing his path.
Right, and you're able to see there, and this is why it's so dangerous at night, because you can't see that there's a tornado on the ground in the Metroplex. You see the winds being pulled into it right there. So when you have to look for those flashes of lightning to be able to see, and you can kind of see there in the distance that there's a big wedge.
Into the storm.
Yeah, I mean, look, all those winds are getting pulled in, so you can see that the tornado is off in the distance from him. And I know there's going to be a lightning flash coming up here soon that you might be able to see the wedge just a little bit of that larger tornado that was on the ground. So all the people that were driving on the roadways probably didn't see that.
No.
Know that there's a storm around, but
yeah, they would have to be just looking at the right place. Now, Jason knows exactly where to look, and he's sitting there staring at that place. But Scott and I have watched this video now several times. Of course, I saw it live as well. And if you really stare at it, we can see it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if you're seeing it for the first time, you're probably not going to see it.
Yeah, and if you're out there driving on the roadways, it's hard to see.
You're not going to see it.
Yeah, it's hard to see as well. So this is what from our storm chaser, the live pictures, so the first live pictures on the air of the tornado, that he was in the right spot and coordinated with you, Jeff, was able to look at the radar as well. He always makes sure that he's remains safe. But we do this to make sure that you guys are able to see some of the latest images. And here he is driving on the roadways and hearing him saying he drove up on some of the
He's
first
going to
pictures
see the damage.
and see some of the damage.
So he's rolling right up to where the tornado did cross the highway. And as he approaches, you start to see the cars that suffered the damage from it. Because, you know, what can you say, Sky? We're looking at this. We know there's a tornado there, and we also see cars racing towards it.
Right, and unfortunately, maybe not have known about the warning at all, and we're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So you're able to see here, getting a little bit closer, everyone's stopping on the roadways as well.
It's right around this bridge, if I remember.
Right.
This is where it starts. So this is probably where the tornado crossed. And so anybody who was driving through it, their car got slammed either into some of the side railing, they hit another car, they might have hit that bridge embankment, especially as you know, around bridges, the winds will start really getting twirled around on you, get a lot of wind interference by the bridges themselves. That's why we tell you, never get under a bridge during a tornado. That's like one of the worst places to go, under an overpass. But Scott, look at all this debris. We were talking about this earlier. Can you imagine the morning commute's going to be like?
Yeah.
And we got branches and trees, and we got tornado debris.
And we know that all of the first responders are doing their best, and the crews are working extremely hard to make sure that everyone is safe and the roadways are safe, but there's just going to be a lot of cleanup to happen. So looking at this was, he was on 635, correct?
Yes,
approaching
correct.
75?
Yeah, so he's very close to Royal Lane.
Yeah, very close to Royal Lane, very close to where we showed you the video of that Home Depot as well. So that's right all in the same area. So this is what we saw. So this is after the tornado crossed over 75.
And you can see the path. I mean, look at the debris. It's everywhere on this road. And in a few moments, he's gonna move up about another 100 yards, and that's where he's gonna see some cars damaged. Even a guy he wasn't trapped in his car. You'll hear Jason yelling and asking if he was okay, and the guy's giving him his thumbs up that he is fine. But I imagine he was a little shaken by it all. There it is. There's this truck right there.
And so, I mean, just look at that. I mean, just to be able to be caught in that. And I'm just kind of listening in as well. So that's portions of buildings there.
Yeah, I think that's the debris that was dragged.
Are you okay?
He'll swing his camera over.
Yeah, we're getting the thumbs up from him. Thank goodness.
All right.
Yeah.
So he was saying, "Are you okay?" And just as you mentioned there,
look at
Jeff,
the cars on the other side. Look over there, Scott. You see, there's also a bunch of cars that have been damaged up against the guardrail on that going the other way, because this is where the tornado passed, and all that debris from the buildings that were lining the frontage road.
And very impressive that the first responders were just right there. I mean, the tornado crossed.
They were right there.
2 or 3 minutes, they were right there. So that's a testament to all of our first responders here in the Metroplex and the Dallas area as well. So that's what we saw earlier, and that's why we were live here on CBS 11 and let you know about the tornado warning. We were live on Facebook as well. Just make sure that you had it there in the palm of your hand as we were tracking that tornado. Jeff, you and Jason got them right where the tornado was to make sure that everyone remained safe. So.
Yeah, at the same time, the very same time, Mike Pendergrass was directly south of the tornado. So we literally had our two storm chasers out. One was a mile north and one was a mile south, watching it go over this area across Royal Lane that Steve Pickett knows very well and was describing in detail all the structures, the buildings, and neighborhoods right there that tornado just went through and did. So every time we send someone in that area, Scott, we're getting some dramatic video, and just wait to daylight.
Oh, yeah. So we'll be able to continue to bring that. All of our CBS 11 news crews are out there gathering the latest information. You're looking at the radar now, and let's go ahead and widen out the view a little bit more if we can, Jeff, as we just recap the tornado warning from earlier today. Go ahead, if you can, with the warnings as well. Put the tornado watch on. Parts of the tornado watch have been taken out. But there have been a tornado watch continuing until 10 o'clock in the morning, and you can see all the counties indicated in red. So if you're in the Denton County area, also I don't think Tarrant County, I can't tell if Tarrant County is in that or not with the radar that's on, but I don't think so. But well, yeah, it is. Okay, still within it. But all these counties indicated in red, a new tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock this morning. So we are watching this. The potential is still there as this line is sliding its way south and the east. I won't be surprised to see some of those counties in our northwest get shaved off just a bit. So, Steve, we just recapped the tornado that moved through Dallas County with our storm chaser and the live pictures that were there. You have another update for us.
Yes, as you know, throughout that area, and particularly as you were just showing us exactly where those images were, that's in northeast Dallas, right at the 635 corridor. Part of the residential area is along Coit Road. Our Caroline Vandergriff right there now at 635 in Coit. She has gone to that location now to give us an update on what we're seeing in that area. Caroline?
Well, we actually came over here to really escape the storm, to hunker down a little bit. We were over by Royal and Preston where the tornado hit, and there was a lot of damage. And once that second round of storms came in, the winds picked up, and there was big pieces of debris flying around. There were trees that were, bending over and snapped that were at risk of falling. So we had to leave that area and kind of seek shelter elsewhere. So we're kind of under a gas station awning right now and in a safer place to be. But I will tell you, there's a lot of lightning still going on. The rain has tempered down a little bit, but as you can see the flashing lights behind me, a lot of these intersections are out. So driving is a very slow, careful process. Some of them are completely dark, some of them are flashing, so that definitely can create some dangerous situations. But now that the second round of storms has seemed to pass through this area, we're going to get on the move again and look for a little bit more damage or go back to where we were to see how that second round of storms impacted the damage we were already seeing earlier tonight. Steve?
Caroline, based on where you are right now, I can tell you right back at Forest Lane and Central Expressway, you will see an extensive damage in that area. And right where she is located right now, folks, we are hearing from the people who live there, and they have children there. The Richardson School District right along Coit and 635. The district telling us right now they are assessing damage of those schools in that area right now. They've not canceled any classes in that district right now. Along the Forest Lane and Adelia area, where we also saw damage along the Walnut and Greenville area as well. All of that is Richardson ISD. We know there's damage in that area. Manuel Viela, our photojournalist who was in the Bowser and Buckingham area as well, extensive damage in those neighborhoods. A lot of those kiddos at the high school level at Berkner High School. We are told by the district right now they're assessing each and every one of those campuses right now to determine exactly what they will have in terms of school for those kids tomorrow. We know already 6 schools for the Dallas School District already canceled classes for them. Midlothian ISD also, because of the concern about damage there or power outages there, no school there. You see that list for Dallas ISD that they provided, the schools that are shut down for tomorrow. They include all of them in the Northwest sector: Cary Middle School, Figueroa Elementary School, Pershing Elementary School, Thomas Jefferson High School, right along Walnut Hill, along that line where you saw all of that damage right there along Midway and Walnut Hill, Marsh and Walnut Hill, all of that area, Burnett Elementary School, and of course, Walnut Hill Elementary School, right there at Midway and Walnut Hill as well. We have seen in the Preston Hollow area, Royal and Preston, Harry Hines and the Northwest Dallas along Loop 12 area. We have seen plenty of damage there. And of course, if you are in to the east of us and Rockwall, that is what people face there. Incredibly, based on that information that we have with that video, no reports at this point of any serious injuries. Folks, that is the image that so many people had to face earlier this evening as that tornado goes right through a sector of Rockwall. How much damage is there? People are still assessing. Is it residential? Was it in a rural unincorporated area where just power lines are down, one or the other? We're still trying to wait on that information. That is just one example of throughout the Dallas area what we've seen. Look at this image here. Philip Ennis providing this. This clearly, we're not sure if it touched the ground or not, but that's another indication of what we've seen. You guys know exactly where this location was, where this image was taken?
No joke. This is a tornado touching down right now. Tornado in Dallas.
That is in North Dallas. Again, the vantage point looking at that tornado from the North Dallas sector.
This is a tornado touching down right now. Tornado in Dallas.
There was one that spun off that got close to Garner, and I'm wondering if it's that one. I'm really anxious to know where that person was at and what direction he was looking.
Producers are telling us that that image right there, as we were looking at that damage just to the north of Love Field in that area, that Webb Chapel location, Jeff, that's exactly where that video was caught, right in that same area.
Okay.
So we know there's extensive damage in that area, and that may be the byproduct of it, of course. Okay, guys, we're going to send it back to the weather guys because they're still talking about that line of storms impacting so many people to now what, to the east of us.
Well, as we've been watching, Steve, you know, this line of thunderstorms that we've been tracking ever since it was on the west side of North Texas, of our viewing area, it has formed and got into a squall line. It passed over the Metroplex, producing 60, even 70-mile-per-hour winds, tremendously heavy rain, and a tremendous lightning show on top of that. That was in the wake. That was coming from behind of the strong thunderstorms that produced the tornadoes earlier in the evening. This came in behind it a few hours later. This is still going on. So you can see the line of thunderstorms stretches all across North Texas. It has cleared the Metroplex, so that's the good news. No more severe weather for Tarrant County, for Denton County, Collin County, and it's almost out of the very corner of Dallas County as it clears Seagoville, headed into Kaufman. There is some strong winds with this, probably 40, 50-mile-per-hour winds and some frequent lightning, but there is still a warning out. Thunderstorm warning out for this. This goes on till 2:15 here, so only for about 12 more minutes, but still the leading edge of it has the chance of producing some very strong winds, maybe close to 50, 60 miles an hour. We'll follow that line up because you can see over by Hunt County and then now into Sulphur Springs and Hopkins County, we still are dealing with some very strong thunderstorms. In fact, there is still a good chance this is producing severe weather. They have even extended the warnings out for that. There's the 2:30 out to till 2:30 this morning out to our east of our coverage area, but there's the warning out for parts of Hopkins County, and that includes all the way up to 2:15 in this morning. A lot of lightning on the leading edge, some very strong winds. As we follow the line through the Metroplex, the eastern edge, you see Kaufman County, northern Kaufman County still eaten up by this. There's some very heavy rain here, a lot of lightning that stretches from Dallas County across Kaufman and then all into the parts of Hunt County you see deeply affected. As we go a little bit further south of there, Italy has seen some lightning. Now the heavier rains now going into Navarro County. The good news is that they're not expanding the warnings into Navarro County right now, Scott Padgett. We are seeing more warnings down here in Hill County, but these expire at 3 in the morning. So these are new warnings that are going to be out because we have strong thunderstorms that are moving over Whitney right now.
And Jeff, just as you were saying that, they're now going to expand the warnings into Navarro County as well. So, you know, it's Murphy's Law sometimes. So Ellis, Henderson, Kaufman, Limestone, Navarro County, we are now have a severe thunderstorm warning until 3 o'clock this morning for, again, the same story of winds of near 65 miles per hour possible, maybe quarter-size hail to penny-sized hail, but we haven't seen a lot of hail reports for this line of storms tonight. We're seeing some of the heaviest rain now moving out of the Metroplex, but still some heavy rain in the Seagoville area. We have Jake Shannon on the phone with us now. Jake, also driving around as well. And Jake, what are you experiencing and where are you at this morning?
Well, just that last little bit of Dallas that you were talking about. The southern Dallas County approaching 45 here and 20. As I get down here, you can still see very, very powerful thunderstorms still in the area, still moving that southeast out of Dallas. A lot of frequent lightning and very heavy rain. Guys, it is one thing with the flooding and the ponding on the road that you're really going to have to use extra precaution if you are getting out at this time of day. Of course, one thing that I have seen driving through the Metroplex is that there is a abundance of wind damage as these the 1-2 punch, the second round rolled through the Metroplex. Lots of sign damage, lots of debris, really just about all over the Metroplex. I was over in the Irving area, kind of worked my way through Dallas, and then now down in the southern area. And again, just lots and lots of debris. So even if it's not part of that that focused area from the first storm where that tornado is, folks waking up in the morning are really going to have to use a lot of extra precaution throughout the Metroplex.
And we will be here with Madison Sawyer, our traffic expert, Jake, to make sure that everyone's able to remain safe and on the roadways. We appreciate you. We are continuing to track this line of storms moving through. So you see Jake's picture there. Here's where he's at. So we're able to show you where we have that live picture right now. There is Jake Shannon out there in Mobile 11, just near Hutchins, looking down towards the south and east of the strongest and severe storms that are moving out of Dallas County, southeast sides of Dallas County, continuing to Kaufman County and Ellis County. But we now do have a severe thunderstorm warning that does include the Ellis and Kaufman County area, also now Navarro County, Ellis, Henderson, and Limestone until about 3 o'clock. Just want to point out the severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas, Hunt, and Rockwell counties is expired. So at least that's some better news. We have a lot of cleanup to deal with. A lot of rain's fallen. These strong winds have moved through. So that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Dallas County has been allowed to expire. So now let's turn our attention a little bit more towards Navarro County and southeast sides of Ellis County. So once again, we have the same signature showing up of an area that is bowing out a little bit more. So it's moving out quicker than the whole entire line. So this severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 3 o'clock this morning. So the biggest concern again with this area that is bowing out is, one, we could see some quick spin ups on the leading edge of that, but also just within this line, some winds possibly gusting up to near 50 to 60 miles per hour or even higher than that. So that's what we're looking at right now. We might have an area of rotation right there that Jeff just circled. There's one south of Rice, one possibly to the north of Rice as well, one to maybe just the west of Corsicana. So it's not as impressive when we showed you that signature with a tornado earlier in Dallas County, but we might have those quick spin ups as well. That's an area we'll just watch. There's not a tornado warning with this, but we do have that severe thunderstorm warning now. Within this other area of this red color that we were indicating right there, we might have winds that are, again, gusting up to near 50 to 60 miles per hour. So that could be the biggest threat with these storms. We have the high resolution velocity indicating 58, 56, 63 mile per hour winds possible. That's just now updating force, 45 mile per hour winds possible. Some of these winds might not be translating and all the way down to the surface, but still the potential is there. And these storms do have a history of producing some wind gusts. We had one being reported at DFW of 67 miles per hour as that line moved through. So it still is potentially there, and you can see here's our radar site. So these winds are away from the radar, but still near 59 miles per hour, continuing to make their way down towards the east into the southeast. So that's what we're looking at for right now with that severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of winds gusting up to near 65 miles per hour. If you live in the Hillsborough area, Hill County as well, we're dealing with these winds, Hamilton County as well, the severe thunderstorm warning until 3 o'clock this morning. So we're watching the southern edge now of this line of storms making its way through Lake Whitney. A lot of heavy rain for you. Some of the strongest winds, not as impressive there, but still you're dealing with a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, maybe waking you up this morning as we're seeing this whole entire line transporting its way from the west to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that's what we've been looking at as we've been going through the evening hours. If we widen out the view even more, you notice that it's quieting down as far as the rain and the storms are concerned. West sides of the Metroplex, Denton County, you're fine. Colony County, you're seeing a little bit of light rain. The east sides for you. Tarrant County, you're okay now. Nothing really going on for you. But the winds still will be strong, possibly winds gusting up to 30, 35, 40 miles per hour. Just because of the temperature change and the cold front that's moving through. We're seeing the rain ending in Johnson County, Hood, Somervell County as well, Parker County and Johnson County. So this is that leading edge that is holding on. And you notice how this whole entire north side is pretty much uniform, kind of all coming together eastward. And then we have that area that right now is making its way out of Ellis into Navarro that is bowing out a little bit ahead of the whole entire movement of the line. And that's where we could have those winds that are strong. Noticing that same one, Jeff, that you just kind of indicated there as well, making its way out of Bosque County. So a couple of segments that we're looking at that still are concerning for the early morning hours. Now, at 2:11 this morning, That's why we do have these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 3 o'clock. So that's what we've been watching. But the good news, I think, is some good news is it's not really raining as heavy anymore where we saw the tornadoes tonight. In the Richardson area, the Highland Park area, maybe some light rain as well. So now people might be able to come out of some of those safer shelters and be able to assess what happened tonight.
And it's going to be a little nerve-wracking for them, Scott, because, you know, they've been through so much already here through the night and through the overnight hours, and now with the rain clearing out, and it will clear out quickly.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have these winds out of the north that are still going to be rattling the windows, rattling the structures, moving those trees around because these wind gusts are going to be that 30, 40 mile per hour range. Yeah, that's not damaging winds. It's just kind of something that'll get on your nerves, I think, as you're trying to recover from what has already happened to you when you were facing 60, 70 mile per hour winds, or a tornado, which we were estimating were probably easily over 110, 120 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe an EF2, and the National Weather Service is going to be out surveying the damage throughout the day today, get us their preliminary reports possibly by the end of the day. As soon as they get it, we'll let you know, but it wouldn't surprise me if we had an EF2, maybe a couple of them as well, maybe 2 or 3. So we will let you know that. What we're watching right now as we're going through the early morning hours, maybe if you're just now joining us or just now waking up, you hear the rumbles of thunder. I can tell you that right now, there are no tornado warnings with this line, but there are severe thunderstorm warnings. They stretch all the way from the state line all the way down through central North Texas, stretching our way down to the south and the west. So this is what we're looking at right now for Kaufman County. Van Zandt County, you're not included in that severe thunderstorm warning, but I will not be surprised to see that extended just a bit. We now have that new severe thunderstorm warning for Ellis, Navarro, Limestone as well, just the very northern sides of that until 3 o'clock this morning. But Steve, we're still tracking this line of storms. This was round number 2 that we were expecting and we knew was going to happen as this cold front is slicing into this really warm air.
Let me tell you, you guys have done an amazing job making sure people stay safe. We so appreciate the work that has been going on throughout the night. Folks, throughout this area for the last 3 to 4 hours, we have seen it all. Yes, at least one tornado in Dallas. We saw another in Rockwall. They're trying to confirm if we've had others throughout the area, and the video, it is not pretty. We have seen very, very difficult images throughout the evening, whether it be in Northeast Dallas, Northwest Dallas. For example, we were over at Walnut Hill in the 35 area, for example. This is footage provided by Brittany Wynn. She can show you what was happening in her area, and that further northwest portion of Dallas in the northwest sector. As the storm came through there, she's showcasing that video, those high winds in that area and the power flickering back and forth, and you could tell that this was a serious situation for so many people in that area. We saw the damage there, for example, at Preston and Royal, the Walnut Hill Midway area, and this video right here provided to us by Dallas City Councilman Adam Magoo. That's right at Forest Lane and Central Expressway. Extensive damage, folks. That is a Home Depot right there at that location. We know that there was serious damage. We have some good news, no indication of any major injuries there at this point. And just to the north, not even 200 yards from that location, we saw a neighborhood impacted as well. This video, this is out of Midlothian, a church with damage. That's the Lighthouse Church. Extensive damage there in Ellis County on this evening. No indications of injuries there, but nonetheless, you can see what these storms and these strong winds were doing throughout our area. Storm chaser Mike Pendergrass says there is heavy damage to the Lighthouse Church that is on 9th Street in Midlothian. I can tell you there are so many people affected by this. We're going to take you to exactly what happened along 635 and 75 right at the 9 o'clock hour. This is one of our storm chasers caught right in the middle of it. I'm going to let you listen and watch what he faced here right in the heart of that tornado coming through that area.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh goodness! It's a big tornado, Jeff. It's a big tornado.
That was just one example as he started continuing to drive there. As you can see those cars coming through, not really, it's dark. They cannot tell. If they're not listening to their radio, they don't know that they may not hear these sirens. The fact that they are driving ostensibly right into the danger zone there. We have no indications, thank goodness, that there were any serious injuries as a result of what you're seeing in that video earlier this evening as that tornado touched down, going right through that primary area where thousands of people drive day in and day out, right at Central and 635. Throughout the evening, we've been going to various locations where people have had residential damage, retail damage in the shopping centers along the Northwest Dallas corridor of Preston and Royal. Caroline Vandergriff has been there all evening long. She joins us, 2:17 a.m. with more from those locations. Caroline, fill us in.
Well, we had kind of left this area to seek shelter from the second round of storms, and now we were driving back up Royal, and it is just an unbelievable sight. It seems the farther we drive, the more damage we see. Take a look at these houses here. The fence here is just falling apart. There are tree limbs all over, and then further up along the house, there's even more fence damage down. This is by St. Michael's. We tried to go up a little bit farther down this road, but there's a fire truck up there blocking the way because he said there are live wires and also just tons of debris and trees in the roadway blocking it, so it's not even safe to pass. We actually had a hard time kind of driving up this area. You can see these large trees are just blocking several lanes of this road, and it's so dark out here. There's no power, so it's easy to kind of quickly come up on these trees in the roadway and have to sort of dodge around. We've seen a lot of firefighters and police out. It seems they're checking on homes. They're also looking and making sure that if there are any damaged section of things with live wires, that they're blocking those off at the moment. So I've really gotten an unbelievable picture just throughout the evening. Now we're really seeing the damage to a lot of these homes. Earlier we saw the damage to a lot of businesses, but the home damage is just extensive, and it's just block after block. So this is going to be the start of days, if not weeks, and maybe even months of cleanup for homeowners, for small business owners. Really, really a lot of damage out here. That's just heartbreaking to see. Steve?
I can tell you, just watching that video that you guys have been reporting on most of the evening, Caroline, right in that area. For example, we had a report, Dallas Stars Center, Tyler Sagan was in his home right there in that Preston Royal area. The words that were used, that house destroyed. His family is safe. They were not home at the time. I can also tell you in that area as well, right now, Barry Blonstein, photojournalist, has been in that area most of the evening, assessing all of that damage. He's joining us live from that very location now with more on all of this. Barry, I see you've got to be right there in the heart of that neighborhood, right?
Yes, I'm at actually Pemberton and Edgemere. And they're telling me to move. Okay. So that was something that I wasn't expecting. But anyway, so the damage is pretty extensive. That vehicle was damaged pretty badly. Now you can see these trees. They are obviously in bad shape. I don't know if the police officers are going to tell me to move or not. But I'm telling you that this whole area is obviously very damaged from this tornado. It almost looks like it's in the
Barry, I know because of the darkness and people are concerned about who may or may not be coming through their area right now. So listen, just hold your shot steady there. I know you can see where you are. You can sort of peruse that area. I want to give people their bearings about what this is, that neighborhood that you're speaking about. And that is the heart of, if people can understand, for example, St. Mark's School, or not far from ESD as well. All of that area there, those homes, you have damage throughout. And we have heard this most of the evening. It's very dark. It's a little tough for Barry to showcase it right now, and we certainly understand families not necessarily wanting us to intrude without their green light to provide that for us. So what we're going to do right there, Barry, we understand that there is concern in that area, but we have seen it all over the place. Let's go to Richardson now. Photojournalist Manuel Villela has been in that area as well. And as this storm, the second wave came through, Manuel, I know there was a lot of concern about people getting out of a particular structure, a residence that was not steady. The roof had been gone. Tell me what you're showing me right now.
Oh, right now, I've actually moved further west on Buckingham and Dahlia. They have the blocked off here, and right here is the damage. This is a power pole and it's dangling over here towards this business. As I sweep around over here, there's more damage, and you can see this is really crazy. There's a canoe from somebody's garage somewhere that has been flung over to this apartment.
I'm looking at you, and I just want to update folks where we are. That is not at Bowser at Buckingham. You're actually at Adelia and Buckingham. That's not too far from that area. So I know exactly where you are there, Manuel, in the Adelia Buckingham area. Again, that's right on the Richardson-Dallas line. He's technically in the city of Richardson city limits. If you cross the street, you're in the city of Dallas. And all throughout that area, where you're seeing right now in that darkness, ostensibly we have a number of residents impacted by what appears to be, in all indications, a lot more than just straight line winds. When you see those poles twisted up like that, it's been dark all the way in that area. It remains in that status. As a result, you can see first responders there sort of making sure that people know that you're coming up on an intersection and it is now in complete darkness. But throughout that area and many more, we have seen this throughout the evening, where residential areas heavily impacted with severe damage to their homes, and then right around the periphery, in the areas, in the zone areas where you see retail and shopping centers and grocery stores, we are seeing heavy damage there as well. Everything from dry cleaners that we saw earlier today to that large Home Depot, which is not literally only a few miles as you head back towards 75. Kim Molestina, we are told, are back in Northwest Dallas along Midway and Walnut Hill at Walnut Hill Elementary School. I'm going to tell you right now, Ken, my 8-year-old attends that school, and I know there's concern about the damage there, so tell me what you have.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be coming to school tomorrow morning, Steve. Have a look behind me. You can see this is the front side of the school, and here you can see some of the damage, some of the downed trees, the limbs, and what looks to be some sort of like maybe an air conditioning unit that has come up. We haven't been able to take a look at the backside of the school yet because it is inaccessible at this moment from where we're standing, but it is certainly something that come the morning hours will reveal a lot more damage here in the area. I want to bring in now one of the maintenance coordinators here for the school. Your name again, sir?
David Bates.
And David Bates, you said you were out here just before we got here assessing some of the damage here to the school. Talk to us about how extensive it is.
Yes, sir. This one's probably one of our worst. Now, we couldn't get to Joe May or Medrano, but from about where Webb Chapel is all the way to 75 is taking a hard hit on our schools. This one, Cary Middle School and TJ, may be our worst.
And we can't see the backside of Walnut Hill Elementary, but kind of describe what it would look like if we were to go back there.
So the portables have been demolished, and the roof was ripped off of this school. And I have a crew here now. We're trying to get the water off to the building because I mean, we have flooding, we have all kinds of damage. All the windows have been blown out. It's pretty rough.
Okay. Obviously, no school tomorrow here.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Steve, so there you go. You have it. Thank you very much for your time. There you have it, Steve. The facilities crews, even at this late hour, are now starting to make their rounds. It seems like the weather has sort of passed now, so it's safe for the assessing of this damage to continue once again. But just one last time here, when you look over my shoulder, you can see they're going to have a lot of cleanup to do, a lot of assessing to do. And I can tell you from what we see here, and we're just walking here briefly, you can see that there are roof tiles on the ground, and it looks like there's water spewing from different parts out here. So obviously a lot of mess, a lot of destruction. Boy, this school got hit hard, Steve.
Listen, it's an awful sight to see, but I can tell you, Ken, if there was any time to have something as awful as that happen on a late Sunday night when there are no children around, that is a blessing indeed. We've got more updates here weather-wise. Scott Padgett, talk to us.
Well, Steve, we're still tracking this line of storms that is moving south and east. We still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings on a couple of segments that we've been watching. And the first one, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. This does include the south sides of Kaufman County. It does include the northwest sides of Henderson County, and then Navarro County, as well as in the southeast sides of Ellis County. So let me clear that out and go ahead and put a track here for you on this leading edge. And this leading edge has picked up a little bit of forward. Let me do that one more time. Just 1 second. Its leading edge has picked up a little bit of forward speed. So as I am tracking this for you, it's moving to the east, probably east-southeast, about 38, 39 miles per hour. So it's going to be in the Powell area around 228, Oak Valley 229, 7 points at 231, and Silver City at 232. So you see the updates there as we're continuing to look at this. Widening out the view and moving down just a little bit more, we're still seeing that line of showers and storms make their way southeast. The biggest concern as I switch on over to the velocity product with this, and remember, we're looking a little bit higher up now in the thunderstorms as it is pushing its way eastward, is we're dealing with some winds possibly near the Corsicana area, near 50 miles per hour, near Ennis about 42 miles per hour to 36 miles per hour, even near Kaufman. That's estimating slightly high. There's not a severe thunderstorm warning there, but some of the winds will be transported down to the surface and possibly gusting up to 55 to 60 miles per hour. Same story down to near Hillsborough and stretching our way down to near the west area. So this is all pushing its way east, where we also have a severe thunderstorm warning until 3 o'clock this morning. So that's what we're looking at right now as far as this segment. And this line is stretching all the way off towards the north and east and southwest. I want to widen out the view just to show you that we're not the only ones dealing with this. This whole entire cold front is moving its way through. So I'm going to go ahead and put a time lapse on this over the past hour. You can see that there's the line that's moving through. But let me back this up by about 6 hours to show you this is what we saw through the day into the evening hours. Those storms popped up, and then we had this line really come together. And we're not the only ones dealing with it. And watch how that line continues then to really form. The squall lines moving through and then pushing its way east, and a number of warnings along that line. So as we get a little bit closer towards North Texas, let me back this up just a bit more, and you're able to see that we saw those showers and storms move through. Here we are right about 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, a couple of supercell storms out ahead of that. So you're watching our continuing coverage here of the storms here in North Texas. We had tornadoes in the evening hours, now still seeing this line of storms making its way down to the southeast. We will continue to track all of the latest information and the weather overnight tonight. I want to let you know that CBS 11 News will be starting at 4 a.m. We have the latest on the tornado damage, the coverage, the weather, and your traffic. Join us, CBS.